Heidi ho, good neighbors. What's going on? It's Phil Russert in this Creatorcon Q&A. Happy Wednesday. I'm sorry about last night to my guest John and to all of you. It was a heck of a day yesterday, which spilled over to today. But anyway, I hope everybody's week is going well. We're on hump day. We're almost through. We're going to have a fun show tonight because John is also an art collector. As you can see, we have a lot in common, and it's going to be funny. He has a nice collection. But he also does this really cool theme that he came up with that I think is awesome. He also did something very kind for me we're going to get into. Before we do, I would ask everybody to please share this out. Let everybody know we're on YouTube right now on Creatorcon Event, and we're on Facebook right now, Philip Russert, and on Creatorcon Event page for Facebook. Let's give John some love. We're going to have some fun talking comics and art. It's a real laid-back atmosphere. Come on in, join the chat. We're going to talk about tons of different artists. So please share this out right now. Peter Pomiotti, hello, hello, hello. So please share this out, guys. Let's get everybody in here. Let's have some fun. Let's have a party. Before we do that, I have my two sponsors. Knuckle Supper Studios by Jason Meadows has launched their second Tales from Nerosville campaign, offering 3 new issues, 88 pages of full-color superhero action and fun for only $9. If you missed the first 3 issues, you can pick those up, too, for only $15 for all 6 issues. There you go. That's the right amount of fingers. 6 issues. It's a fun, entertaining comic with good writing and great art, similar to Astro City, but in the vein of those great indie comics from the 80s. No politics or morals, just pure escapism. Comics the way comics are meant to be. It's on Indiegogo right now. Please go check it out. Greg, what's going on? Hail. All right. Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles buys, sells, and trades a wide variety of various collectibles, including comic books, trading cards, action figures, and much more. They have a weekly live show that airs every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on their Facebook page, facebook.com/Craven's Comics. The live show features tons of high-end comic books, including slabs, key issues, signed books, stackers, and many other sought-after issues. Additionally, they offer CGC submission services, comic book cleaning, pressing and restoration, supplies, and much more. Also, if you're looking to sell your comics or collectibles, whether it's a single issue or a whole collection, they've got you covered. They can help you sell piece by piece via consignment, or they can buy your collection outright from you in cash. The choice is yours. Make sure to check out their website as well at www.cravenscomics.com. That's Kravens comics.com. Craven's Comics for the comics you crave. Glenn, what's going on? How are you? All right, we got some people in the room. This is cool. Let me tell you something. Tonight's guest, I met him on Facebook. He's one of the nicest guys. He's been really cool to me. He did a very kind thing for me, which we're going to discuss soon. But he's also a fellow art collector and has a cool theme that he does. And he gets some awesome artists. It's great talking to him every time we get to chat. I look forward to meeting him in person. Without further ado, my guest and fellow art fan, John J.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you? Everything better at home, I hope?
Everything's always chaos, but at least life isn't boring, right?
Never, not a moment.
Well, you're a father, so we know it's never boring.
No.
I am sorry that we had to postpone to tonight, but I'm glad you're here, and I'm looking forward to talking with you because you and I have a lot in common with the art, man. I mean, we love this industry, and we love art, and we love artists, and you have a cool theme going on, as we can see a little bit in the back there.
Yeah, so, it's funny because you grow up loving comics, and sometimes you love comics when you're young. You don't even really know what you love about them, right? So, you're 8, 9, 10, you're flipping through, and you don't know what a splash screen is or anything like that. You start looking, and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And then when you're 30, 40, 50, you look back and you go, I really gravitated towards that artist's work, or I really liked this style, or, along with the stories. So.
Well, it's funny because I didn't know writers and artists. I just read what I read. I liked what I liked until I got older, and then I started to recognize and pay attention to who's writing what, who's drawing what. It came later.
Yeah. So I've always gone to Comic-Cons, okay? And I probably started when my youngest daughter had an interest. Both of them played sports. My older daughter liked to do stuff with me, but it was my younger daughter who really enjoyed venturing into that. So we have a local con called the Motor City Comic Con.
All
And
right.
so I take her out there and she'd go through the dollar bins and find her little gems or whatever. And then, I'd start grabbing this or grabbing that and maybe get an autograph or something, when they weren't $200-$300 a piece.
Really?
And then in 2013, we got the Stan Lee package when he was at Motor City and got a chance to do the whole thing with him, which
is awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm glad I didn't miss in life. So as COVID happened, or right before COVID, there's a smaller con right by our house called the Great Lakes Comic Con. It's held in the community college. They do a really good job bringing high-end guests there, but at the same time, it's just not that big. Okay,
right.
They had Jim Steranko, Jim Starlin, and Angel Medina there along with some other people. So I was thinking to myself, like, my MO up until that point was to grab an issue that I liked by them and have them sign it, a nice memento. And I would usually buy a print or something from the table. So I think about it a little bit more and I'm like, I'm creative enough I could do something different. So I'm looking, and the idea came to me when I'm going through all these covers. I think it was an Angel Medina thing. I was going through the covers and I'm like, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. And I'm like, oh, I can't pick out a comic here. And I'm thinking, why do I have to, right? I can do something. So I have some limited Photoshop experience, but I ended up going into Microsoft Publisher, and they have a poster setting there. So I started designing and working it out, and I thought, this would be a cool way to represent some of the work because that brings back the nostalgic feel. That brings back that, I remember that comic when I was a kid, or that's a favorite book, or something of that nature. And so I did that with those three artists, and I brought those to the con. And I just thought about it for signatures. That's really what it started off with. And I showed it to Angel, and he just kind of freaked out. He thought it was really neat. And I think how I lucked out is because it wasn't a really big con. He's like, hey, can you leave this with me for a little while? You can be here. I said, yeah, absolutely. So I left it with him, walked around, did some stuff, came back, and he had drawn this incredible upside down Spider-Man head. And I made a big enough space there for a nice signature, but I had never even thought that it was big enough for any artist to consider doing anything with. So,
think about it. They draw on a panel on a comic, even on 11 by 17. It's probably a smaller than your space, Yeah,
the space is 3.43 inches square with cutout rounds. So yeah, it worked out. I went over to Jim Starlin, and the special thing is, and I'm sure we'll show it later, Jim's looks like, most people will know what it is, but I'll tell you what it is. And you'll be like, really? That's a comic artist drawing? Well, you know what happened to Jim. He had that.
With his hands.
Yeah. So his hand was still messed up, and he still tried to do a little drawing on there, which was kind of actually makes it a little more special.
Yeah. My shows are small like that with big talent too. So, but the good thing about those shows is that you get that time with these big names, That's the good thing about those small shows. If they can get that talent.
The conversation I had with Jim Steranko
he's always been a great storyteller when he's not flirting with my wife.
I'll remember that next time I consider.
He did my wife. It was hysterical. Terry, hello. How are you? I hope you're feeling well. You're almost through. Keep pushing. Thanks for sharing it out.
Hey, Terry.
She asked what happened to his hands. You're the guest. I'll let you say. He had nerve damage.
Yeah, I don't know if it was specifically carpal tunnel or something, but he had a degenerative or deteriorating condition that his drawing hand needed an operation, and it wasn't a little fix. It was a long, arduous process.
Yep.
That took him off the shelf for years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long process. We didn't even know if he was going to come back to drawing.
He just recently did. I think new title.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a while. So that's cool. I mean, how long you been collecting comics and loving art, following artists?
So artists came a little bit later, like I said, about realizing who you were looking at. You know what I mean? I've always loved Jack Kirby. I just didn't always know it was Jack Kirby.
Right.
So, um, but reading comics, I have a picture of when I was a kid, oddly enough, with the Detroit Tigers baseball player, because we used to go to spring training in Lakeland, Florida, of their shortstop reading me a comic book with a lightsaber in his hand. So I was probably 6 or 7 years old.
Nice.
So yeah. So
start them young. That's what I'm doing with my kids.
well, that's how I got interested in reading regular books. Because they're not the most fun.
See, I had this debate with my wife. I said, listen, my oldest daughter didn't like to read. I said, I'm telling you, comics are a great gateway into reading novels. Just give her a chance to read some comics, get comfortable with it, and watch her progress. My wife was like, no, you can't just let her read comics. She has to read books, blah, blah, blah. And it backfired. I started letting her read comics, appropriate comics, and she started loving reading. She would go read. We didn't have to force her. And now she's picking up books that she liked and she's starting to read them. So I agree.
Yeah, and if you give them a trade paperback or you give them, a collected edition or something, those are pretty long, so they have to be invested. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Ian Churchill gave me a copy of his Marine Man, and my daughter loves, obviously, marine animals. So she read that and really enjoyed the whole thing, and that was a thick book. So thank you, Ian. Let's show your collection because I love what you're doing. And let's show people what you were talking about. I'm going to X us out for a minute just because as handsome as we are, the art is prettier. So this is Neil Adams, obviously.
So this is so I should probably explain that how it goes about. Most artists I started after COVID shut everything down. I started reaching out to them, online, Facebook. Neil Adams isn't one of those guys. Once I realized I really enjoyed, doing this, like this was something I could dig my teeth into. It's going to sound a little morbid, but I said, okay, who are the elder statesmen of the comic world that are still around? Is that too sick? Yeah.
Get them before it's too late, right?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, I kicked myself in the butt. A few years ago, 3-4 years ago, I sent Joe Sinnott some comics to have signed, and had I done this ahead of time, I'd have a Joe Sinnott poster, and I'd treasure that for life. But
yeah.
But Neil Adams was one that I reached out to. His son Jason runs his art and does a fantastic job. Great communicator. And Neil did this. I had to have him do Batman for me, but I tried to represent all his work. Tried to get a good feel of the covers I like, and and the most popular ones.
Yeah, I have to say, I forget what issue number it is, but right here, Batman. That's one of my favorite covers of all time.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
And so you get them to draw, like you said, in a 3.4 square.
Yeah. So I have them. So I design the posters. I take them up to a local shop and I have them printed out on 80-pound matte poster board, which is still flexible enough to send around in a tube, but it takes ink and pencil and pen really well. So most artists, I've never run into anybody that has any issues with it, which is nice. And then they draw on there and they send it back.
Very cool. Just to show a close-up of the piece, Neil Adams drew one of the, in my opinion, it was the best looking Batman of all time. I like the blue and gray Batman. I believe it or not, more than the black. But is what it is. This is Darren Auk. This was the drawing you had in the middle of Golden Age Flash.
Darren is the Swiss utility knife of artists. That guy can do anything.
Do you see the figures that he makes?
I know. That's what I'm saying. He can. I'm telling you, you give him any medium, and you throw him in front of some wet mud, and you're gonna have a statue in a couple hours.
Yeah, that is true. It'll be made out of sticks and mud, and it'll look like it'll look like a sideshow.
Yep.
So this is the poster board that you made. Now, you send them the poster board, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so I try to make it as easy on them because look, I completely understand that this is, while some people I pay, some people just offer to do it for free. It's a mix, um,
right,
because it's not a big sketch. So whatever, I feel very grateful that they're even entertaining the idea. So
sure,
I include 2 copies, one for them to keep. One for them to return to me. I include all the return address labels, everything in there. They're stickers. So all they have to do is take it, put it back in the tube, put the stickers on, seal it up, and then I PayPal them the return shipping. Um, so there really shouldn't be. Now I also give them digital rights to these posters. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but I've had a dozen artists already print out copies and are using them now at conventions
that's cool.
and are selling them. Yeah.
That's very cool.
So, and I won't take a dime for it. There's just no. These guys are so awesome in the industry. I haven't met an artist that's rude. Some are more business like than others, but everybody's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can always like talk about the one bad apple, but for the most part, yeah, man, most of them are pretty awesome.
Yep.
Tell us about this one.
So Gary Barker. Gary's a great guy. Probably most known for his work on Garfield. Gary also did a run on Morbius and did some Hulk work, which was very cool. So as you'll be able to see, I couldn't decide. Gary offered to do 2 posters for me. I really liked his Morbius, and he also did a Garfield for me because that's what Gary's known for, and I needed one. But that was pretty cool of him.
Now, you had mentioned how you wanted to get some of the older statesmen. Did you get Ramona Fraden or Fraden?
I have reached out. I believe Catskills Comics handles her right now.
Yeah.
Because so with some people you can reach out on Facebook. I would say I get 3 out of 10 people that answer me. About 30%. Well, and I don't blame them, right? Either they don't handle their own messaging on Facebook if they're too big,
Right.
or if they do, maybe sometimes I try to be as non-fanboy as possible, if you will, so that
Right.
I seem legitimate. But even through all that, I can understand where it would just be, okay, who is this guy? I don't really need to deal with this. But big artists, small artists, some of them will just come back, hey, that looks really cool. Awesome. What do you want to do? And then it's kind of fun because what I do is the first thing I ask them is, what's your favorite covers? What do you like the most? And I try to include their favorite covers.
Well, you'll get your best work if you do that. You'll get their best work.
Well, it's also the best representation of who they are. And I think that's kind of the whole point of displaying an artist is to not, I could be selfish and just put, all the Thor covers of Bob Hall out there that I want.
Right. Right.
But it's about an entire artist's catalog of work. So. And I don't
totally
ask for, I just like pen and ink, but Gary took the time to color, which is very
About to
nice.
say he did a full job, man.
He really did. He's a nice guy.
Oh, look at that! Awesome.
I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot more classic than that.
Exactly. Oh, nice! You did the whole. That's pretty cool.
I will sometimes do themed posters, right? If I know I'm going for a specific thing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab some of the really cool ones that he's done and run with that.
They're really cool. John Beatty or Beatty.
So John, for those who do know or don't know, was the inker who teamed up for years with Mike Zeck. And
Yep.
Those two are, if there was a combination, after Joe Sinnott, Beatty and Zeck would have been probably a really good 80s example of artist and inker that did really well. Now, the signature's there, right? Some artists, they don't make it policy or practice to sketch anything but whatever, Bristol board or whatever they work on.
Right.
Or, they have their limitations and what they can do. So John was nice enough to do a signature and I'm happy to have it. But maybe if I run into him someday at a con, I can talk him into scribbling something on there for me.
Yeah, I've approached my exec many times at cons about drawing on my jams, and he always turns me down. Some guys, I think they don't like to draw under pressure. They like to be quiet in a studio at home and just doing their thing. And I respect that. Sometimes if an artist turns you down, it's not, maybe not for the snobby reason you might think. It might be just a limitation of their own. Or, I mean, think about it. It can't be easy to either draw live while you're entertaining and trying to sell and trying to be a public figure, or just having people stare at you watching over your shoulder.
Well, it's funny you say that because I don't exactly know how to handle cons when they start going full blown again. Because I think what you're saying is true. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have some tubes with me, some labeled tubes. And if they can't get it done there, but they do want to do it, I'm just going to give them the tube and everything ready to go and say, mail it back to me when it's done.
Yeah, well, the best thing I do is I try to, like, as you do it over years, the ones that won't draw live there. I try to get them first thing on the Friday, say, if it's a 3-day show. And I tell them, listen, if you want to draw it at the hotel, go ahead. I'll pay you here and just get it to me by Sunday. And if for whatever reason Sunday rolls around and once in a blue moon they don't have it, then I'll say, okay, here's my address. Email me, or we'll exchange numbers, and they mail it when they mail it.
Yep.
Oh, look, Aaron Best is here. Who let that big ass dog in here? Bow wow, he's such a nut.
And that's a compliment coming from Phil.
Yeah. So we got Superman.
Yeah, so now that's Howard Bender. I don't know if you know Howard.
Silverhawks.
Just an awesome guy. He's done so many different things, so much different work in the industry over the years. He does caricatures now at parties and that. And I say that because I've seen him post some of his work. And I got to tell you, it's really something. He does a wonderful job. But he did a great colored Superman for me and did all the details with the chain. Complete surprised me on that. And I love it. It's really nice.
Isn't it awesome when they go above and beyond for you like that?
It feels good, whether it's true or not, but it really makes me feel like they're invested and they care, which makes it much more special.
They appreciate your fandom and that they have a passion for what they're doing still. It didn't become just a money-making business,
Yep.
Here we go. Listen, Jim would have been at my show on the 28th, but he has a wedding, I think he's going to, or something like that. But Jim is a really cool dude. And I love his art, and look at the stuff he's done, and his run on Exiles was awesome.
Yeah, Jim's pretty cool. You know what happens when you get to artists like this? Jim chose the character to draw here. I think he was doing a Juggernaut run, and he was into it, so he did that, and I was really happy and surprised by it.
It's gorgeous.
But how do you choose sometimes? So I kind of look at and I go, okay, do I get somebody that I haven't had drawn for me before, or do I do an artist's most famous character? You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, dude, he knocked it out of the park though. And again, he's a really nice guy. It's kind of funny because he throws the F-bomb a lot when you talk to him, just like casually talking. And but he's got a bad memory for names, so he kept forgetting my name. So I said, just call me F and Phil. So anytime he talks to me, he goes, it's F and Phil. What's going on? He goes, you should have named your show the F and Phil Show.
That would have been a great name.
Yeah, family friendly. So yeah, I just saw him at Garden State Con, and I was like, hey, Jim, what's going on? He goes, F and Phil. Except he's not saying F, and he's actually saying, the curse word. Yeah, awesome stuff. I love that thing he did too. But look at that. That's gorgeous.
Isn't that great?
And Juggernaut's one of my favorite villains too.
Yeah, he nailed it.
My wife hates him. She says he's just a human phallic symbol.
I'd be careful. Your wife pointed that out.
Yeah. Terry, you're right. Now he remembers my name. Yeah, Peter Palmiotti's here. He inked over Jim Calafiore. He's worked with Jim. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm excited. A little teaser here. Peter and I have come into an agreement, and I'm really excited to see when his poster comes back. We'll update you because I'm working with him on one, and it's pretty exciting. I won't show because I have obviously the designs of all of them, but I'll wait till I get it back so we can show it.
Cool. And then we got.
So this is this is kind of funny. If you go to the next slide, this is Gary Cohn. Gary Cohn is a writer. Okay, so he said that's the best writers can do. I loved Amethyst Comics.
Yeah.
And I was expecting just a signature. He's like, he said his friends called him Old Ape. I get it, Grumpy Old Ape or something like that. And so that was his contribution to the panel. But he's
very
done
cool.
Great writing. And if you've never read his Demon Gun series, very cool stuff. Very, very, almost Ghost Rider-ish. Very neat.
Very cool. Billy Tucci She on the bottom there.
So Mark Deering.
Right.
Doing some great work. He was under time constraints, but was nice enough to throw me a Green Lantern symbol, which is appreciated. Some great covers. Can you imagine? Look at that Joker and just all the other stuff he's done.
I know this cover is my favorite from him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that Nova one.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
and of course the Robin, that was another great one.
Yep, awesome stuff. Great art.
Sweet. There's the close up. Man, he made that almost perfect. Look at that.
I know, and he even centered it appropriately to fit the signature.
Oh, who's that? That's freaking incredible. Who is that?
How cool is that Optimus Prime?
Wow, look at these. Look at that.
Do you know Jeff Edwards?
I don't.
Jeff Edwards just came through. Now, he's done some Transformer stuff, okay? And I don't know if you know Steve Leidick, but Edwards and Leidick have worked together as artist and colorer on many different projects. Jeff has a show on Saturday nights on his Facebook page, a live stream, and Steve has a show on Friday nights where they live draw, and they have an amazing turnout. They're just nice guys, right? And so I stumbled on him there, and I started to find all the stuff, and I got to tell you, man, this Edwards guy, he just got into the new book that came out, Siphon, this past week. That's his first run on this book, and it's his own art. So I hope people check it out, because this is one of the really good guys in the business. And as you can see, and you'll see once you get past the poster because he did two posters. He did a black and white Transformer themed one, and he did a regular one. So that poster's cool. I mean, that's
cool. It's beautiful.
Now look at that.
Wow.
Look at that split. That is awesome.
Wow. That is really awesome.
Talk about an artist everybody should know about.
What's his first name?
Jeff Edwards.
Jeff Edwards. I'm going to look him up. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I do know him from his his G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Yes, I do know him. I'm friends with him. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Yes, I do know who you're talking about. I don't know why I forgot. I wasn't thinking. Yes, absolutely. I even spoke to him a couple of months ago. I loved what he was doing with G.I. Joe. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he just came out with Siphon, so props to Jeff. Go read it. Go buy it. It's a good book.
That's fantastic. Beautiful work.
Randy Emberlin.
Yeah, man, he did the Carnage and.
Yeah, big. I mean, you talk about a guy who's nailed a ton of key issues, right? I mean, those Amazing Spider-Man issues. Not even as good as the art is. Go try to buy one of those now.
I know. He's a nice guy too.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah,
really, really forthcoming. Even put a print in. I recall him putting a really nice print of the Scarlet Spider in the tube as well. It was a nice little extra gift. And
Zoe's got the perfect beard. Like not one hair is out of place in that man's beard.
You got facial hair envy, Phil.
Yeah. Especially since his is still got some dark in it. Mine's all gray. Thanks to my wife. No, I'm just kidding. Very cool.
You have kids, so I get it.
Emberlin, he lives in Portland, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
So Now this is a cool story. Wayne, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Fauché. I don't think you pronounce
I
the
always
R.
said Foucher. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm maybe I'm pronouncing it the ethnic way, but
No, you might be right. I don't know.
I don't know. Half the time I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. Um, I'll tell you though, it was cool. I messaged him, and so he's like, "Hey John, I read your thing. It sounds pretty cool. I'd like a little more details. I'm right in the middle of a deadline for the current Spider-Man issue. Can I get back to you tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Who takes time? You know, if I'm working on the current Spider-Man issue and I'm up
Right,
against a deadline, I'm probably not answering some random guy's Facebook message asking to sketch on a poster."
right.
So I'm thinking, holy crap, that's cool, and I'll never hear from him again. That's probably how that's going to go down.
It was a nice blow off, right?
Right, right. It was one of the more civil ones that I've had. But sure enough, it was actually a couple of days later. He's like, "Okay, I'm done with that. What do you want to do here?" And I told him, and I said, "Your Joker looks absolutely sick, but do what you want." And he came up with this, and oh my God,
Nice.
that's just mind blowing.
Uh, Chris, is it Dragan? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Said, "Hey, cuz."
Yeah, that's my cousin Chris. He's a fantastic artist in his own right. Does a lot of pop culture art. Great guy.
Cool. If you have a link, Chris, and you'd like to promote, please drop it in my chat. Every show I do, everybody's welcome to promote themselves.
Yeah, please do, Chris. You got great work, man. We'd love to see it.
Terry said that as far as Jeff Edwards, he calls them the Ed Weirdos,
Yep.
and that he's so nice. She asked you, "What's your favorite What are your favorite comics?"
Uh, Currently, okay, I'll go with current. So I'm into a few different books right now. The new Joker run, the 2021 Joker run, is phenomenal. It's great. I really like Berserker by Ron Garney. I mean, the
Right.
artwork's great, and I can't wait for the Netflix show with Keanu Reeves. Geiger is a fantastic show, or a fantastic comic, excuse me, that I've been catching up on, and and I have to say I just finished reading Stray Dogs, and wow, that is a game changer. If you won't see it coming. That's all I got
Oh
to say.
yeah.
Have you read it
Cool.
yet?
Now,
So you just won't see it coming. It looks very Disney-ish kind of, and there's a reason for that. But the writing is phenomenal, and it's got a great plot twist and story, and it's good. I'm also into the new Aliens run, which is nice. But
okay.
other than that, all the classics.
By the way, I apologize for my daughter's loud laughter, and my wife apparently is using a blender because even though I'm live, they don't care. So forgive the background music and the
Families,
background noise.
hey, we're just family talking together right now,
Yeah,
aren't we? I mean,
yeah,
that's your
yeah.
family.
But I could be on with Wills or somebody, and they don't care. They'll still put a blender or some crapple on. they don't, they're like, "Who's that?" And
I'm just bummed I'm not there to get whatever's coming out of the blender.
yeah. Well, I had a joke, but I'll leave it.
Okay, we're still
Never
PG.
mind.
I got it.
Yeah. So tell us about Fosco.
So this is one of the early ones, right? It wasn't the first one, but it was one of the early ones. And Frank was really nice enough to do this. And I'm sure you know Frank's work, but he was a big Turtle guy, a contributor for years, and did some Savage Dragon and Vanguard and that. But man, it was cool because it was only like the second or third poster I'd ever gotten, and you see something like that fall out of the tube, and you're like, wow, this is that. It's kind of like if you're golfing, you hit that perfect shot, you get that addiction. You
Right.
see art like this, you're like, I want to display more of this. Holy cow!
Oh yeah, and it's a nice gritty. It's a little more modernized, obviously, than the original Turtles, but it still like has a connection to the old grittier looking Turtles before, they were the cartoon craze.
Yeah. Now here's something really interesting. See that triad cover there?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where the talking and the building of the relationship is really kind of fun. It happens with some artists, it doesn't happen with others. But he actually created that. It says June of '77. He was 16 years old, and he did it in high school. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think it ever got published, but he gave me the image, and he asked if I could include it on the poster.
That's
And
cool.
I think it was meant to be a high school poster or something like that. But I kind of enhanced the color a little bit, because it had faded. And so it's things like that are kind of cool. Never seen the light of day to anyone, and that 16-year-old kid drew it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Haha. There's the man right there. I was
Speaking of Berserker. Yeah.
Pretty stoked to get a Ron Garney sketch. I'm not going to lie. I reached out, talked to him for, I don't know, a minute on Facebook. And then you don't like to bug somebody when they say they want to do something.
Right.
But he got busy. And it's understandable because I didn't know at the time Berserker was coming out. So I didn't hear back from him for like 2, 3, 4 months. And I was like, oh man, I'm bummed that I missed that opportunity. And then he finally messaged me back, and I'm like, oh my God. I saw, like Ron messaged back. I'm like, okay, maybe this could still happen. And then it's going to happen when they give you an address. Like,
right.
Okay, send the tube here. And I'm like, yes. So that was pretty awesome.
Very cool.
And a super nice guy too. So outside of that first Comic-Con, this was the very first one I received in the mail. This is Drew Geraci. Drew does a lot of work, a lot of recreations, a lot of original comics there. He's worked on a number of different books. I really like his take on Beta Ray Bill. He's done some stuff. So he was super cool about all this. We ended up talking comics for a minute, and then he asked me, we started talking about records and because he collects vinyl and I collect vinyl, and it just got into this whole thing. So it got very personal and very nice. Just a very, very cool guy.
Very cool.
So this is kind of fun. Ian Globinger, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Do you know Ian?
No, I don't.
So Ian works more. He doesn't do comics. He does more other art media, pop culture media stuff. And if you look at his posters, they are really cool.
Yeah, the Sandlot and Die Hard, and yeah,
the Sandlot, and
the Birds.
Yeah, League of Their Own.
Blues Brothers, Temple of Doom. Awesome.
Yeah, he does some great stuff, and he actually has like Hawaiian shirts made with some of these designs. So they're pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I saw this stuff, and I instantly fell in love with his style, and I was chatting with him about something, and I'm like, I could do a poster from his posters. So I did, and he did a really cool, Leonardo there. So very neat.
Terry says she loves your taste in comics.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, Grail. Oof. Man, Grell was at the East Coast Comic Con a couple of years ago. Wanted to get him on my jam. Actually, not my jam. I wanted to get him to draw. What's his name? Oh God, why? John Sable Freelance for me.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the most underrated character designs, just characters. I think I used to love that book in the '80s. It was out at the same time as Vigilante at DC, and he was just backed up. But Grell, man, nice guy.
So I didn't get the chance to, because he is not actually on Facebook or social media that I could find. So Scott Kress, I don't know if you know Scott over at Catskills, was really nice enough to hook me up with Mike and kind of took care of that for me. And I got a wonderful cover. I mean, I couldn't ask for more than that.
That's just gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah.
And there's John Sable.
Yep, there's your John Sable.
Man, that is gorgeous. I think that's my favorite so far.
Oh, okay. I'll be interested to hear what your top 3 or top 5 are or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, my favorite right now, and I'd have to go back and look at the other. See, oh, this is nice too.
Yeah. Bob Hall, man. I mean,
Yeah, he's. I got to hang out with him after Terrificon. Him and Jerry Ordway and Barry Kitson.
is he as nice as he seems?
He really is. They all got drunk. It was really funny, but he really is. And he was a guest on my Q&A. He's a really nice guy. By the way, he had some of the most interesting stories when he was on my Q&A of all my guests. He really is a great guy. Very underrated talent. He doesn't get enough credit for some reason. He's really good, man.
Yeah, that comic. Immediately, I knew who I wanted him to draw, because that Thor comic to the right there with the Crusader was just one. I remember that cover as a kid. I read that issue to death. I liked Knights, and I thought it was just so cool that those two were going toe to toe. And he did the quintessential classic Thor, which made me really happy.
I miss this Thor, this suit and everything. I really do.
I do too. Yep, I do too.
Well, I'm old. What am I gonna do? Yeah, man, this is a nice one. Bob is awesome. He really is a great guy.
Yep.
Larry Hama, writer, editor, artist, war veteran. Vietnam veteran, I think. Oh no, actor.
Yep, he was in episodes of MASH, if I recall.
Was he? Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe he was. He was in some episodes of MASH, and Larry reached out to him. He was nice enough to, you got to do Snake Eyes if you're doing Larry. Just
right.
But he's done some pretty cool stuff, and Larry's up there in age, and I'm glad to have had a chance to. And he's a legend. I mean, if you talk to even Rob Liefeld, who's been talking about the whole Snake Eyes thing that's going on right now, he geeked out when Larry said that he would come on and do one of the alternate covers or the variant covers and be part of it. He was really excited. Larry
basically made G.I. Joe what it is.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Very cool. Scott Hanna, friend, good guy, great guy.
You just clicked on maybe one of my favorites. It's in my top 5. It
is definitely one of mine too. He's such an awesome guy, and people don't realize how well he paints. He can pencil. He's on tons of jams of mine, and he's inked jams of mine. I can't say enough good things about him.
Well, when I talked to him about it, he was really nice, and he asked me what I wanted him to draw, and sometimes I leave it up to them. But at the time, I said I don't have a Hulk. He's like, I haven't done the Hulk in 10 years, but I'd love to mess with it and try it. And this is his version of messing with it and trying it.
I know. That's Scott. He's just that kind of guy.
That realization just really makes me know how untalented I am at anything.
Hey, Alfie, what's going on? Thanks for coming out.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah, Alfie's a good guy. He's got a book. Will be out soon enough. It sounds really interesting. It's going to be good. Got to check it out.
Cool.
And Scott, I love his Spider-Mans.
Oh, by the way, Scott didn't just do one poster, because that second poster is supposed to be for him. He said, I had to give you a Spider-Man, too. So he sketched the Spider-Man and the second
nice.
Both back.
Yeah, he's awesome. He'll be at my show on the 28th. Actually, him and Pam, they're sponsoring the show.
Nice.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to solicit. I'm just talking comics,
Not at all, man. That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, he's awesome, man. He really, he's one of the good ones, really good ones.
Yep.
Jeff Johnson, he did that cover of Wonder Man. It was one of the best looking. There he is.
Yep.
Wonder Man looks so badass on that.
An underrated character, in my opinion. In the I
agreed.
Really, I got into the whole Avengers and then into the West Coast Avengers, and I thought the first couple years of West Coast Avengers, Wonder Man shined.
Yeah. Look, don't get me wrong. I like this costume, but I love that old flak jacket with the jet belt. I do. I just do. People think I'm absolutely stupid. Like it's the worst freaking costume in all the comics. I dug it, man. I dug it.
What was he doing? Wearing that when he was going to Studio 54 in 1970?
Yeah. But this was a good, good change for the times. This is probably the best I've ever seen him drawn.
Yeah, no, he did a great job on that.
Aaron Best said Wonder Man used to be his favorite.
Outstanding.
I should get a commission of Wonder Man and Wonder Woman put together.
That'd be pretty cool.
Not the ionized Wonder Man, but this one.
Right.
Cool.
No, this one's much better. Yep.
Very cool. Oh wow! Look at that.
Dark Side, Batman.
Yeah, it is J.G. Jones. Okay, cool. Look at that.
Yeah, this was an unexpected. I really, you know how big a deal JG is, right?
And this is my favorite cover that he did.
And he's going through some medical stuff right now. So JG, you're out there. I hope you're doing better. Really some crazy stuff. And took the time, and we must have talked for almost an hour online about just stuff and life. He doesn't know me from Adam, right? But felt like he could talk to me, and I felt the same way with him. We just talked, and he's another guy who sent back 2 posters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is just what's amazing about that. That is, it's a drawing, but it's the absence of, like,
right.
I don't know how to. I'm sure there's an art word for that, but it's the spaces define the art.
The negative space, the use of his negative space. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So
very cool.
Yep.
There you go.
Another one. Yep. So I did not know who that was at first.
Is that the original Hour Man?
That is an alternate universe Green Lantern.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't aware of that, and it's pretty cool. Just the shading and everything is pretty awesome.
Great job on the art. Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
By the way, talking about Wonder Man and Wonder Woman, Aaron goes, he don't want her near him. Peter loved Wonder Man 2 and Avengers. He agrees with me. Thank you, Peter. It's nice to see someone knows that I've got taste. This is nice.
You need people sticking up for you.
Yeah. Well, they don't usually, so it's always good when it happens. Very nice.
Yeah, so this is Don's a great guy. He did a great job on that.
Greg Land. Greg Land gets a lot of crap because they feel, some people say he would lightbox and stuff like that, or he's stealing poses from magazines. All I'm going to say is every artist uses reference poses all the time. This guy can draw, period. He can draw, and he's a nice guy. And he gets a lot of crap from people. But look at that.
I'm sorry, I've never seen it's amazing. If you look down there, if you scroll down, I've never seen a magazine with Wolverine's claws through Iron Man's, face, so I don't know where he's stealing that from, but that looks
right. But just again, the way he draws, like, this is so iconic, and his runs on like the Ultimate Fantastic Four with Sue Storm, and just killer stuff, man. Yeah. I really like Greg. He's cool. I mean, he was nice when I met him.
Yep, his sister helps him out with his stuff. Very nice gal. Great stuff.
Very cool. You got 2 characters. What is that?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Greg LaRocque.
Yep.
Yep. He
very cool.
It's a little lighter there, but he decided to put those 2 characters. I just did his carte blanche, left it up to him, and did a great job. Really nice.
Very cool. I love that cover. I always love that cover.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nobody else to draw him. Hell yeah.
Not like that. How many of those covers, right?
Oh, man. You have to get him on. Absolutely. Classic. And look at the job he did.
It took me 9 months to get him. And you know how I got him?
How?
Great story. So I had emailed him back when he went to that small Comic-Con I was telling you about. This was 2.5, 3 years ago. And I still had his email because I asked if he had any prints that he was going to sell at his desk, and he responded to me. So I'm like, perfect. I sent him a really nice email. I included the draft of his poster, and I never heard back from him. Reached out online, never heard back from him. So you know who Joe Gaella is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so Joe has an agent, or at least a guy who answers his Facebook stuff, knows people in the comic world down in Florida, and is a super nice guy. And he said, look, I'm going to put you on Joe's list. It's a long one right now, but we'll get you on it. And if there's anything I can ever do to help, let me know. I said, well, if you know any other artists, I'm always looking to make contacts. I appreciate it. He goes, I live down the street from him, and I'm really good friends with Bob Layton. No kidding. I said, well, if you can put me in touch with Bob and get him to agree to do a poster, I would absolutely, appreciate it. And he did. He came through. It was crazy. So I was, to say, more than excited to add this to the collection.
I just got a message from Carlos Rafael. For some reason, he's saying Facebook won't let him. Oh, there he goes. It popped up, Carlos. He said, I worked with Jeff Johnson in the mid-'90s on a project that was intended for Dark Horse Comics but never saw the light of day, Earthman, an adaptation from the Brainstorm Monsters from the ID book by Anthony Abraham with litho art provided by Jeff. Very cool. Very cool.
Man, I'm envious of those guys. If I could do it all over, I'd go to Marvel one summer when I was a teenager and asked if I could take out the trash all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Stan Lee as Spider-Man. Look at that.
So this is the Steve Leidick is a colorer, as opposed to not as much, but he does do some art. He's the guy who works with Jeff Edwards, and when I saw all the stuff Steve had done with the Stan Lee covers, I had to put them together in a poster. Now, like an idiot, I didn't proof it well enough, and if you notice, there's two of the same Secret Wars covers on there with Stan.
Yeah.
I don't know how I screwed that up, but it was really cool to get a Stan sketch.
That is cool, though. Very cool.
Yeah. You know Bruce McCorkindale?
Yeah.
Bruce is cool, man. I did 2 covers for him. I had to do, when I saw his run on the Muppets, he's taking these Muppet characters and he's taking references from movies, like in the top right-hand side, the talented Mr.
Ripley,
and then you've got It's a Wonderful Life here to the left of the picture.
Right.
And so you see he's got all these little references of film noir and everything else. And then he sketched that one and he sent back another one too. So it's
that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Howard.
Yep, that's got to be in the collection.
Damn right.
That's another Mr. McCorkindale there.
So cool. Yeah, Godzilla. I love Godzilla.
He does good work. He really does.
Yeah, he does. Changes up his style when he needs to. Is that Mark McKenna?
That's Mark McKenna.
Another cool dude.
Man, what's funny is for a while there, I would get Mark McKenna and Tom Morgan chatting back and forth with each other on one of my posts or something. And I didn't realize back in their Marvel days, they were roommates.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. And so they started telling stories, and I'm just sitting back with popcorn going, this is great.
Both are nice guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember that was big.
Yeah,
that was big.
That's pretty cool.
And my man, one of my favorite artists of all time, don't think he gets enough credit, Bob McLeod.
He's got a classic style that's just, it's transcendent through decades, really.
Dude, can I just show you real quick while we're sharing fan stories here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to see that New Mutants there?
Yeah.
I know it's too far, but right there.
Third one down?
Yeah, he drew Mirage. He drew Danny Moonstar right there. And it's one of the best. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
Just so freaking perfect. And he's a really nice guy, too. He's funny though, because if you catch him when he's tired at a show, he's got mean face on, but he's a nice guy.
He's got an RBF.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, amazing, dude. I mean, and people don't know he was an inker, but he could draw. My God, he could draw. He was an inker. Neil Adams.
If these guys, who have talent all across the board, took what job they could take to get in the industry, or whatever.
A lot of people, a lot of inkers can draw really well, but they couldn't meet deadlines, so they decided to ink because they can't pencil fast enough to do sequentials. So they went to inking. Yeah, but Bob can do them both. I mean, and he did both. He drew and he inked in published comics. I mean, he's cream of the crop, man. He was a guest too. He's awesome, beautiful. I actually was going to get him to do a cover on issue 1 of my book, but I just didn't have it at the budget in the budget at the time. So
yeah, that's a big name. That's a big name.
He's so damn good. Look, I mean, I love his work. I just absolutely. And spell his name right, everybody. See, people don't realize that's how you spell his name. It's the Scottish way. McLeod.
I don't think you're sharing the screen anymore.
Well, shoot.
People are looking at my ugly face instead of other people's great artwork.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I'm so bad.
That's okay.
All right, there we go. Let me go back just to show that one more time. McLeod. And there we go. This was
the story I told you about.
Yeah.
This was the one that started it all.
He's a very nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Look at that.
He will sit there. He's got to drive people nuts at Comic Cons because I'll sit there and I'll talk to somebody if there's nobody in line, and I'll talk as long as they want. That's awesome. But a line was building up behind me, and he wanted to continue to talk about the poster and this and that, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. But I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling this 300-pound dude with a stack of comics in his hand behind me,
breathing on you.
I'm his next hoagie. You know what I mean? And it's because the guy that comes up there with a stack of 30 comics, and the next day they're going to be on eBay, right?
Yep.
And to each his own. I'm not a fan, but whatever. But I'm like, okay, cool, Angel. Yeah, okay, and I want to move on so these guys can do their thing. But he's fun.
By the way, just stop going back a minute. Damn right, Carlos. Bob McLeod is my New Mutants artist. He should have stayed on it, and they should have given him. I don't know. I don't think he gets respect, but that's just me. But yeah, I loved Angel's. Just the Kiss book. Here, it was just because of his art. Otherwise I couldn't care less. But it's so good. Look at this work. He's always been really good, man.
That Spider-Man cover is epic right there.
Yep. And look at this. Tom Morgan, speaking of.
Yeah. Tom, there's a guy who's done a ton of stuff.
Yep.
Not my favorite Captain America, but one of my favorite Iron Mans for sure. And the Alpha Flight stuff.
I was going to say, I liked his Alpha Flight. Look at that.
Yeah.
Awesome. The Tick Spoon.
That is such a great, that's a great use of shading. It's so good. Ian Chase Nichols.
Yeah.
Just a cool
He's an underrated artist.
Yeah, he really is. He's got a certain style, right? There's no two ways about it. But in my mind, I think it especially for Tick, it works fantastic, and it's good stuff.
Look at this.
I've been really getting into Usagi lately. I was a little ignorant of it, and I started reading it, and it's you can go down a rabbit hole with that stuff because it's been around so long.
No pun intended.
Have
the rabbit hole, no pun intended, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize I said it. Have you ever read any of that?
No, I always want to. I haven't read anything in a long time. I've been
Sometimes
so busy.
I can't read complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't always read complicated. I can't, it's just too much. I need something simple, and that's a great simple. So
Is it? I never know. Is it Paquet?
Yannick Paquette.
Paquette. It is Paquette. Okay. He's a nice guy. Talked to him for quite a while at East Coast Con.
Yeah, that's my first international.
Very cool.
Yeah, I just made another deal with a second international one, which is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, you got to deal with. You got to talk to Ian Churchill. Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's got good stuff. Yannick did a nice little. So I think this is just a signature here, and this is, I think, Sean Parsons. Yep, Sean Parsons. And this is one, you're talking about inkers and drawers. Sean's an inker. He said, I'm not a drawer. I gave you my signature. Yeah. But he is a dang good inker.
Oh, my God. Look at that. That's nice.
Mr. Perkins?
So nice. Dad, look at that.
Oh. Yep. Big fan. Big fan of Mike. There's very few.
I like this cover.
Artists. Yeah. Very few Captain America artists I don't like.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff.
So Wendy and Richard Pinney, this is the first couple one I did, spent their entire life dedicated to one book, and that was
right.
And they have an audio, they call it an audio movie. I don't know what the difference is in an audio book, but I think there's special effects and sound effects and everything that go with it. It's an audio movie.
You mean like train sounds in the background? Sorry
exactly.
about that.
Exactly like
damn Long Island Railroad.
So what was really nice is Wendy doesn't really draw anymore. She's got some hand issues and that from years of drawing, but she was nice enough still to do a little sketch.
Very cool.
And so I'm very grateful. It's a series that I loved in the 80s. I know it started way before them, but I picked up the mini series from Marvel and then kept on reading it afterwards, and it was so good.
There's a nice cover right there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Bottom middle.
Nice little signature from Gordon Purcell, one of the brothers Purcell. Yeah, there you go. Nice Hal Jordan from Ron Randall. He, very nice guy, did a great sketch. Very much the classic Hal Jordan.
Oh, yeah. I like to show people the covers, too, so they get an idea of what they've done,
Yep. That's the whole point, is to mix it up a little. He's very proud of Trekker.
Yeah, you can tell.
Do you know Bill Reinhold?
I never met him.
So Bill does great work. You can see that, right? I love that Prowler. In hindsight, I would have asked him to recreate that cover. Sometimes I'll leave a very prominent cover. Like I would have left that cover out and then send him the picture of the cover and say, hey, can you just recreate that person? Like that would have been awesome in the middle. I love the Batman he did, but that would have been awesome. Now, the coolest thing is, do you know who Linda Reinhold is?
No.
If you get a chance to look her up, she is one of the colorers in some of the most famous Marvel books that you've ever seen.
Okay.
Like all through the 70s and 80s, you're like, she did that. And
oh, really?
This team here, incredibly talented household, really sweet people.
Well, this is one of his covers that I love. I really love.
The Badger, yeah.
I'm trying to see the signatures.
That's Chris Ring. Chris Ring is a great sketch artist. He hasn't done many, if any, covers, but I do love his work.
Nice.
I see him sketching live all the time, and I just think he does a great job.
I miss classic Cap. I miss Captain Marvel without a butch hairdo. Phantom is awesome. Angel, nice Jean Grey. I miss the Phoenix costume. Very cool.
Yeah, it does a good job.
John Romita.
Okay, so.
Whoa.
Okay. Right? So, but there, I have to confess something, okay? John did not do that little silhouette there. John signed a poster for me. Nice enough to do that. That was awesome. I went through somebody for it because John, as big as they get. But he signed it towards the bottom there. It was just a white space. So my wife is incredibly creative. And I said, what are we going to do there? So she cricketed out a vinyl Spider-Man silhouette, and it just fit the space perfectly.
Cool.
So
even still, you got his signature. That's just awesome. By the way, Peter, talking about ElfQuest, he said, I got the gigantic ElfQuest omnibus. Great work.
Oh yeah, Peter, it's it's such a great read if people don't know the storyline.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is a local artist. I don't know. There it is. Scott Rosema. I don't know if you know Scott. He does a lot of local cons here, but he's
nice work. Wow.
Huh?
Nice work.
He does excellent work. He really does excellent work.
He has a nice mix of the classic style and then like the Iron Man's more modern. Wow, look at that Daredevil. Oof.
Yep.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think he could go more mainstream if he wanted to. I don't know if it's his full-time gig still, but I do see him at the Michigan Comic Cons all the time, and he just does excellent work.
I love that Daredevil. It's awesome. Wow. Good old Joe.
Man, that's to me that's one of my favorites. That's a top 5 for me. Yeah, there's a guy who's people give him a hard time, but you still got to draw stuff. I don't care what your inspiration is or your.
Well, I interviewed him and I didn't know this. I always wondered why Frank Miller's pencils looked different on this Wolverine series. And he's like, because Frank threw them very loose. That's all him. Those are his finishes. That's Joe Rubenstein rendering.
Is it really?
Yeah. That's what he said. Yeah. He said Miller's pencils were so loose. I mean, like Sal Buscema used to do that. That's how he did. Not John Buscema. I mean, he used to do 10 books a month because he'd do these really loose, pencils, and the inkers would tighten it up.
And Joe Sennett would come in to save the day.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this.
That's one of my favorite. He did the color on his own. It's just what a great pose to get 2 characters in there with personality as well.
Dude, do you see his paintings that he does these days? Rubenstein does some amazing paintings.
This is the top 5 for me.
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I'm sure you're friends with him on Facebook, or at least follow him. Every time somebody passes away of significance, he will do a watercolor or an abstract.
Yeah.
Or something. And I just sit there in amazement. It's just like, are you kidding me?
This is one of my favorite covers of all time.
Is it?
Yeah.
So when I reached out to him, I said, yeah, or a Moon Knight or a Daredevil or or an Elektra. He's like, okay. And then he sends it back with all 3.
Very cool.
And he went with the white outside of outside of the spectrum. I just thought it was really neat.
But yeah, exactly. Creeping up. That's very cool. He's a really nice guy.
Yep.
Bob Smith
did a big Archie run. Did some Captain Atom, some Flash, a lot of DC stuff. So
Captain Atom, a character that could be written well and could become big, and they never used them, right?
No, they really didn't. But that's kind of a DC thing, isn't it? At times.
DC, Marvel, they each, you could say it, but about somebody. There's Starlin, like you said, he had the hand issues.
Yeah, so we were at the table, and he's like, "I'll draw you a Thanos." So that's a side view of a Thanos there.
Right, you got the knuckle chin and
the knuckle chin.
Very cool.
But another great guy, just another great guy. I know it sounds like the same old broken record. Now help me out in this one. I've seen this character. I can't put a name to it.
Honestly, it looks like an amalgamation of like Alf and something else from like the Muppets or something. I don't know. It looks familiar, but I don't know.
I have seen it in comics. It's just a pencil, and I have seen it. I just don't. I can't place it. That's John Stamos, really nice
Yeah,
guy.
I don't know.
I don't either. I think it's like a rat or something like that because of the teeth.
You know, people are gonna laugh at me, but when Marvel bought Malibu and like the Juggernaut and Black Knight went over to Malibu,
Right.
I liked it. It was fun. I liked Prime. I liked those. You know, I mean, even though Prime was basically Shazam, I enjoyed them. And was Malibu Nightman? Nightman was a really good book.
I personally think that Black Knight is underrated. You know, as a character.
Well, let's hope they do him justice when he comes into the MCU, which they're saying should be soon.
Please don't screw that up.
Oh, they will. they'll make him. They'll probably race swap him or sex swap him, you know, gender swap or something, and
Feige trust.
and totally give him a different background and like I don't know, they'll screw it up somehow. Yeah. Anyway,
so that's Mr. Stegbauer there. Mark's a great guy. Done a lot of different things. His own book there, Ghoul Scouts, is pretty cool.
This is how I knew him from. Yeah.
From Nova, yeah. Yeah, he did a really cool Nova.
And this one.
Yep. But
very nice.
Super nice guy. He's printed up some of these posters to use at Comic-Cons.
That's cool.
Yeah, so pretty flattering. So this is the one and only there, Mr. Steranko. Greg, you know him. I mean, conversationalist and just an animated guy and just a
great storyteller.
Yeah. And
by the way, he's in his 80s and he's built like a brick.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. There's no way he was gonna sketch anything for me. You know, the line is wrapped around everything trying to get to him, but you know, just to have the signature, very nice. All those classic iconic covers.
Oh hell yeah! Except you didn't have Polaris, man.
I know. I couldn't fit them all on there. You should see that it's a painstaking process to get it down to 8.
Oh, I'm sure it is. As a fan, hell yeah! Wow, this is beautiful.
Nate Zerdy.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Look at that. That's a really good one.
So I will let you in on a little secret. You may or may not see that very same pose coming up on a cover, a variant cover by Nate coming up.
No kidding.
He told me now. He said I like what we did with the poster, and I'm gonna put it on a cover. So,
awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited. He's really hot right now.
Classic Cyborg.
Romeo Tangel, yeah. Good. Now, if you zoom in, if you look at if you look at the sketch, so I send everybody a poster. I talked to Romeo. I sent him the poster, and you know what he did? He cut out the white part, and he sent me this huge sketch of you know, of that sketch. It was like an 8x10 that you just lay the poster on top of, so you can just put it over the head.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was very neat.
Man, I loved Omega Men, and this Green Lantern, the Emerald Twilight was just awesome. Of course, New Teen Titans. Oh.
Yep. That's a great classic Cyborg, too.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Arena the Superman. That's a good one. Wow.
Now, so that almost rounds out my top 5. Are you familiar with Terry Tidwell?
Yeah. This is beautiful.
It's just the detail on that's just it's awesome.
It actually made me think of this cover.
Okay. Between Miracle Squad and Twilight Avenger, it kind of feels like film noir. It feels like an old, like you're reading an old movie, if that makes sense.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
me is just cool.
We can skip this one.
Yeah.
The only thing I wanted to say about this, John sent me what was it, 25 of these? 25 of these with my tragedy covers on there, some of my tragedy covers to use. He just gave them to me. He wouldn't take money. I kept insisting he wouldn't let me pay for shipping. He just sent them to me. So if you want to know the kind of guy that John Jay is, that's the kind of guy John Jay is. And he still tells me to shut up when I say, dude, thank you. Please take some money. And I mean, this was just awesome. And I don't know what to say, but I really appreciate it. And just humbled and grateful. And this was just awesome. So thank you. That's the only reason why it's up there.
Well, I'm just a kid who likes comics, right? To play in your guys' playground, this comic world is totally a privilege. So any way I can contribute is fun.
Well, it was amazing, and I say thank you so much.
Thanks. So this is one of the coolest dudes I have met in the business, Mike Vosberg. Probably know him most for his She-Hulk run, and he's very adamant about not wanting to paint She-Hulk, and you can tell him that wanting to draw her still feminine.
Right.
You know what I mean? He doesn't care for the over muscular She-Hulk.
I don't either.
No, I think the way that top one there is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I
he
agree.
did this one for me. You know, he also sent me an 8x10 full original sketch of She-Hulk that he did with detail and background.
No kidding.
Just because. And anybody who purchases art knows that goes for a pretty penny. And he just included it because I was a fan. Super nice. Just amazing guy.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful work here too.
Yeah, really is.
See, you know, I just watched the He-Man cartoon, right? And my only issue, and maybe I'm going to get flack for this, it is what it is. Look, I believe in strong female characters. It's obvious. I mean, look at my book. But why do they always feel in Hollywood or wherever, when you make a strong female character, you have to give her a butch haircut and make her bitchy? Like, make her cranky. Why? Why? A woman can be feminine and still be badass and tough. She can have sensuality, you know, qualities that a man doesn't have, and still be a badass. I don't get it. And, you know, maybe I'm going to get jumped on by a bunch of people, but like, you don't have to give a butch haircut or, like you said, make She-Hulk like ultra ripped to be a badass. I don't know. It's just me. I guess I'm just old school.
I've got to watch it though. Did you enjoy it? I said you saw your review, so I am looking forward to watching the He-Man series.
Yeah, I'm not done with it with the last episode, but here's the funny thing. Everybody loves the cartoon that was in the 80s, whereas I thought that cartoon, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I didn't care for the cartoon compared to what He-Man was. If you look at the comic books that came with the figures, he was a barbarian type guy. Teela was a sorceress,
right, with
the snake armor, and there was no sorceress in the Castle Grayskull, and it wasn't Castle Grayskull with the magic of blah blah blah. And it was much more Conan-like and gritty. And Dark Horse has a hardcover book that puts them all together that I love. So when the cartoon came out, they had Orko being a goofy dumbass, and they had the sorceress, and then Man-at-Arms looked like Tom Selleck all of a sudden because he didn't have a mustache, and and Teela was, you know, the kind of, again, a little cranky, like, I don't know, a fighter and upstaging, you know, Adam all the time and trying to emasculate him, and Prince Adam. There was no Prince Adam, and he looks the same, just with a pink and white shirt on and the busted brown hair, and you can't tell he's He-Man. It was just so it didn't really.
Reminds me of Sam Jones from the original.
Yeah, I can see that. Who's another nice guy, but So when I see this new reboot, I don't get upset. I mean, the one in 2001 was actually really good at first because the bad guys were winning, and then it kind of got kiddie-like, and the writing got bad, and it fell apart. But I don't know. I guess to me, my original He-Man was the comic, and I never got to see it in animation anyway, so it didn't really piss me off how they changed it now.
Right.
The story is solid. There's some things that I think, all right, maybe not the best, but there's, it's good. But, it's like Star Wars fans. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I really hated Episode 8, and I didn't like Episode 9, and Episode 7 was eh. But it's just a movie at the end of the day. They didn't ruin my childhood. It's just people go crazy. It's like, chill out, man. Relax.
And things evolve. It's
they'll retcon all this crap again.
Right. I mean, don't read the New 52 or any of that stuff if you don't like change.
Yeah. And, change is good, just as long as it's change for a reason, of story, not just for the sake of change. And that's what a lot of these people in Hollywood don't understand. Anyway.
So there's Mr. Ron Wagner. I did not get a chance to talk to Ron. Scott Kress helped me out again at Catskills, and I was really happy to have this.
Cool.
I didn't have a Galactus. I wanted one. And there's why didn't you get a Daredevil? Well, I have a Daredevil coming from somebody that's pretty amazing. So
right. I'm surprised you didn't get Garney to do the Daredevil. Oh, this is cool.
You want me to tell you who the Daredevil's out on right now?
Sure.
Klaus Janson.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. Would you talk to Jason?
Yes, thank you. Talk to Jason. I've got Klaus coming, and I've got Tim Sale coming.
Very cool. Jason represents both Shachter. Yeah. This is awesome.
So this is a departure from my normal design. This is David Thorne Wenzel. And do you remember in the 70s and 80s, when they would do a Hobbit book, there would be 10 pages of print, and then they would do a painting, or there would be a sketch or something in there. Really nice work. Well, David did those things. He's an amazing artist and painter, and just awesome. So I decided, because of the orientation of his art, I was gonna try to do this a little bit differently. So I went ahead and did it in landscape style. And I didn't feel like the whole fit the right way. So I found this online, and I just wanted to create something a little special, a little different, and this is what I came up with.
That's really cool. I like that. Yeah. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan too, and The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's really cool. Oh, I love that. That is really nice. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, his paintings are beautiful.
This is incredible. I love this. Dude, I even go so far as to have that traditionally colored.
Now, how do you feel about this? So I have stuff that's inked, obviously. Do you mess with the integrity of it just being one artist's work on one poster, or do you take that and say, okay, I got this beautiful piece, and do you have somebody color it?
Well, it depends on how you color it. If you're looking to digitally color, I mean, you can get plenty of great digital colorists, but if you're going to get it hand colored, Alex Sinclair, he's just phenomenal.
Do you think it ruins the integrity of the single artist poster?
I see what you're saying. Well, you could always get a second poster all in black and white, and get the colorist to color scan it in black and white or something like that, and then have Alex just color the middle piece with the rest being black and white or something like that.
That is a great idea.
And you could put them as a set,
I like the way you think.
Yeah, this is
displays. Yep.
This is beautiful, and I'm telling you, Alex Sinclair is a traditional colorist as well. Is phenomenal. I mean, he's so good. Or you could go classic with like Bob Sharon or something like that.
Right. I'm gonna throw something real quick here. I think I have it into the folder because David did two. If you really like this, he did.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, no, he did two versions, one that he ended up keeping himself, but he gave me the choice of the two. So I ended up keeping the Bilbo one. But having said that, let's see here. So we can keep talking. That was Glenn Whitmore. We'll come back to the other. Glenn is a wonderful character, Clockwork, Captain Clockwork.
I just met him, I think, at the Garden State Comic Fest.
Oh, did you?
I think it's him.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Maybe it wasn't him.
He is a very, very.
No, it wasn't him.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep. And he's done some other stuff. Obviously, a lot. That's that Archie 1941. If you've never read that, take the time to kind of check that out. That's pretty neat. It's cool. Something different.
Okay, cool.
Let's see if I have
Ron Wilson.
Let me drag that over there. Okay. So you should take a lot of credit, well, all the credit for this Wilson one. And I asked for too much and I got it, and it was cool because I didn't realize how much detail there was in a small space. I didn't realize he was going to do the background and everything else. And he took an entire cover and did an amazing thing with it.
That's Ron. He's a nice man. He is. Let me tell you something. Since I've been working with him, he is just the nicest guy. I mean, he really is. He's another classic pro that gets no love or appreciation, and it is just so much of a pleasure to be his art rep and his rep at this point.
Let me ask you, how do you? I mean, I know you've done this business forever. How do you, somebody like that, how do you approach them and say, hey, can I take care of your life's work for you?
Well, see, I've always been the kind of guy of, you don't win a fight if you don't get in the ring. I mean, so go in and throw a swing or two, and whatever happens, happens. So he was going to be a guest on my show. He was a guest at my convention. And he had a great show, and we stayed in touch. And he was going to be a guest on my Q&A like this, but he had some serious Wi-Fi problems. Couldn't get him on. And he was talking about how he was, hoping to get back on. He wanted to try to sell some art. I said, well, listen, I'm an agent. I'm a small agent. I'm nobody big. But if you want, I can help you. I can sell you art. And he goes, well, what's your take and what's this and what's that? And we talked, and he said, yeah, I'm in. He's not exclusive with me, but as far as I know, I'm the one that's selling. I don't think he's selling his art out anywhere else. So I've been just selling his art when I can and repping him and he, talking to him, and he's a phenomenal guy. I mean, he's a really great guy.
It's hard to say that somebody like that is underrated, but I got to tell you, if you look at the classic covers we're looking at right now, I feel like more people should be talking about him in the realm of some of these
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you haven't even put up some like really iconic covers that he's done. I mean, because there's too many to choose from, and yet people be like, Ron Wilson, who's that? But then when you mention the books he's done, you go, oh, I love those books.
Yep.
I mean, like with the champion and like with the thing with the boxing gloves on the front with all the guys behind him for the was it number 7? Was it annual number 7 or I forget 2-in-1 Marvel 2-in-1 number 7, something like that. Just great guy. I mean, honestly, not pushing you to button. I'm not pushing a sale on anybody. He's just a great guy.
That's awesome.
Let me refresh to see what you added here.
Yeah. So at the very top, you'll see it, and you have to go back to the main page there.
I think I can. It just refreshed me to the main page.
Yeah, it's going to be that one in the corner on the left right there. So this is the one that David kept for himself. Since you like the other one, I thought you might enjoy taking a look at this one.
Oh, oh yeah, you lucky son of a gun! Look at
I
that.
didn't get that. That's hanging in David's
Oh, really?
yeah.
And it's like the classic Gandalf from the old animated Bakshi, and like I'm not a Bakshi, the old
The 19
illustrations on the books and stuff.
Well,
Oh
he
my
did
god,
that. You know he did that, right?
that
Those
was him.
those 70s books that had the illustrations, David Wenzel did.
Oh, dude, that is. Oh my god. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, that is nice. You should ask him if he'll send us even just a Xerox of that damn thing for you. That is so good. Oh, son of a gun. I love that.
Yeah.
So who you said that you got Klaus Janson and you've got Tim Sale. Anybody else you want to tell us you got in the works?
Okay. Yeah, I got some.
And who's your wish list that you haven't gotten in touch with yet?
Well, so here's who I have out there, and this one I've been waiting on for a while. But Alex Saviuk or
Saviuk. Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yep. So he's working on a poster for me. Peter Palmiotti.
Yeah. He's all right. He's awesome.
He's a great dude.
He's another guy I get to rep.
Oh yeah, very cool. Carl Moline is sending me one. He just sent me. Sometimes they'll send me a picture of what's been done. You know what I mean? And it's pretty cool stuff.
Work in progress. Very cool.
Jerry Acerno. I don't know if you know Jerry from the Iron Fist run. He's sending me an Iron Fist, and he'll be using the poster at his cons as well.
Awesome.
Walden Wong, who's a fantastic.
Yes.
He's pretty busy, but I'll be getting one from him. I have the Tim Sale and the Klaus Johnson one. Craig Rousseau is going to be sending me one, so that's in his hands. John Sontag, who's a local artist,
I know that name.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh, I'm friends with him on Facebook. That's why.
Okay, yeah, you probably see some of his already posts. I try to, you saw that like I did the Ian Glauberger and just all the other people. Try to have a whole scope of different type of art.
Oh yeah, well listen, even like the covers I get, you get some big quote unquote big names, but you want to support the indie artists that are trying to get out there too, because there's so much talent. So much talent.
Look, the name's cool, but for a great idea, one of my top 5 is Terry Tidwell, right? Your average comic guy doesn't know who Terry Tidwell is.
Right.
I think he actually sells insurance in Oklahoma and still does comics.
Really?
Really?
Wow, that's tragic.
But he still does comic work. But my point is that piece of art right there is. There's some people you get excited because you have his name in your collection, and there's some people you just look at the art and it doesn't matter, and you're like, oh my god.
See, that's the thing. For I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. There are art collectors that it's just about prestige to say that I have a Ramita.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about for them. Not everybody, just some. For me, would it be awesome to have a Ramita? Yeah, but not because of his name and the value, or because it ups my stature. Because I just grew up loving his Spider-Man and stuff, and his Hulk is my favorite looking Hulk. So it would just be, it's like Bob McLeod. If when I get work from Bob McLeod, it's not, I got Mr. Bob McLeod. He created the New Mutants with Chris Claremont. It's just, I love his art. It's just amazing. He happens to be a name with art that I love, Yep,
I totally get it. I've got Matt Haley coming. Matt's a great artist. He did a really good Superman for me. He's a current DC artist. Now I got a Kevin Eastman sketch coming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, pretty excited about the.
Did you talk to Courtney?
Pardon me? Did
you talk to Courtney?
No, I actually went through Clan McDonald. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
cool.
They had an opportunity there. I got to tell you, it's hard to get in. You know what I mean? Most people I can talk to think, okay, this person seems reasonable. It's the opportunity to talk to them. We've talked to you and I have talked about one art dealer that I can't get past. And
I don't know why though. Because honestly, I mean,
these aren't big enough projects. You know, and one thing I never said, the reason I do this too, and I continue to do it, this allows me to collect a ton of artists and not go broke. If I were to do a 11 by 17 poster of each one of these artists, I couldn't afford it. Who could?
Right. I know.
But between the range of free to the most expensive one was $300. And I'll let you guess who that was.
Of all the ones that you have?
Of all the ones I have.
I got to remember who you have. I'll tell you what. Throw out. Now, is it you including the signatures? Or are you just talking about the art?
So they include the signature with the art.
No, I'm saying the $300. You had just people that just did signatures, or you talking about people that drew?
No, the $300 was a drawing. That's $100.
Neil Adams.
Yep. Yeah.
Neil Adams.
And that's okay. You know, Neil is his own era of artwork.
That's Neil Adams right there. That's $500.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many years ago though?
2017.
Okay. Yeah, I've met Neil several times at cons. Super nice guy. Just really is a nice guy. He was to me. And I saw the look.
I guess I couldn't hide that look. Real quick.
Hide that well
segue. This has been a great episode. Not only great artists, but also the books they worked on. Well done, Phil and John. So many flashbacks. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Peter's having flashbacks because of probably what he's doing. But, you know, no, I'm kidding. He's sniffing markers or something. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But, you know who you have to get? And I can tell you who to talk to? Philip Tan.
That's right.
Philip Tan.
Does he live here in the States?
California, I think now.
I want to say, you know what? I can tell you right. This is the great thing about having Facebook Messenger is that I can pull up messages that just sit there in limbo forever and never get answered, right? You know, so I wonder if Philip was one of those messenger.
You can't, he won't answer. You got to go to Kirk. I'll tell you who to go to.
Okay. So,
and David Finch, you got to get Finch. You got to get.
So I reached out to Meredith, and they just moved. Now they're building a huge. I don't know.
You're gonna have to go through Comic Sketch Art to do it, probably, which is Doug.
Okay, so you got me excited now. You got me.
Dude, I can tell you everybody you got to talk to get to these people.
Well, I know, without bringing up the name, you know the guy that. So I've been trying. I know how old he is, and I've been trying to get on the list for Sal Buscema. Just get on the list. I want a Hulk by Sal Buscema more than I want, a lot of things in life.
More than I want my kids to go to college.
No kidding.
You can make your own way. Go get take a state exam. You can work for the government. Great benefits. Sal.
Hey, I do that. I work for the government. Great benefits.
There you go. So I don't look, I mean, all I can tell you is the person we spoke of, when I first got into doing shows, I wasn't well respected and received. And I asked about one of the people that is big that they rep, and I got a ridiculous amount of money for an appearance fee, and I was like, thanks, I'm good. I started to invite the people that this person sells their art but doesn't rep them for shows, and they were all coming to my show, and they were all going back and saying, this dude puts on a fantastic show. I made a lot of money. He treats us well, blah, blah. My third show, that person we're speaking of showed up, and he likes me ever since, and we've talked, and he gave me a much more reasonable offer. and I
think that's what it is, right? Nor am I looking for it. So just let's be clear. I'm not looking for street cred in the comic art world.
Right.
But I don't have any credibility with anybody. I'm just like, I'm like the guy from, please, sir, can I have another?
Can I have some more?
Have some more,
Please.
please. Right. So that's who I am at this point, and that's fine. But I'm hoping before something happens to some of these older artists that I get a chance to add them to the collection.
I mean, I'm not like. It's funny. I text messaged that person recently, and I don't know. With COVID, it's been a year and a half, and I was like, hey, so and so, it's Phil Russert. You at my show? And the person laughs. He goes, I know who you are, Phil. And then he started to talk to me like, no problem. So he's a good guy. He's cool. He really is cool, but he probably gets approached by 5 billion people.
Oh, yeah.
That he's got to just shut some people down. I mean,
he's got to be on his radar.
Yeah, and I maybe I could ask him or talk to him. Or maybe if you ever come to my 2-day show and he'll be there.
I think I need to fly out and meet you in person and drink way too much bourbon. And
well, I mean, he is most likely going to be at my 2-day show next year. So, I mean, if you come to that show, I can introduce you and maybe
give me dates on that, and
I don't have any yet because I haven't planned a damn thing.
All right. Well,
I mean, I'm hoping it's next year. I'll be hoping. It's just, I mean, I'm not ready to go into these conventions yet with the up and down nonsense that keeps going back and forth. Media and politicians are changing rules constantly, telling you this: we're open, we're not open, we're doing this, we're doing that. The restriction is this: you can do this, you can do. I can't bet. Look, I don't make a lot of money. I'm not Reed Pop. I can't invest all that money in a 2-day show. Celebrities cancel, don't show up. That would ruin me. Yeah. So I have to be patient. So I say next year tentatively. Would I like it to be sooner? Yes. But I can't afford for my show to have all these cancellations or my doors close and I'm done. So I just have to be patient. Yeah, I have to be patient. And I mean, it's not about I care about fans' safety, but if fans don't show up and it's not a big turnout, okay, such is life. But if artists cancel and that's why fans don't show up, that's something I could have had some control over in the sense of poor timing to start my show. So, it's just I just want to be smart about it because I don't have this big hit. I've been doing shows for I did 3 shows. They were all successful. They all got bigger and better. But I'm not there yet. I'm not Terrificon with Mitch, with 20,000 people showing up and the artists
geared up this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be there Friday and maybe Saturday. So it's just, but if I told you the lineup that I'm probably going to have at that show based on who told me they want to be there, it would be pretty cool. I mean, I could tell you because again, this is barring schedule conflicts or something that goes wrong.
Sure.
But David and Meredith Finch should be there. Bill Sienkiewicz may be there. Chris Bachalo, Jim Steranko, Alex Sinclair, maybe John Romita Jr. Maybe. That's a maybe. That's not a guaranteed.
I know.
Let's just say that. I mean, I've had Alex Sinclair, Scott Williams, Mark Bagley, Billy Tucci, Ryan Kincaid, Marat Michaels, Al Garza, Jim Steranko, Adam Kubert, Barry Kitson, Mike Hawthorne, who doesn't do shows, but he came to mind. I had Norm Ratman. I've had a lot of guys. Bob McLeod may be at my 2-day show. So it's going to be huge. I am planning on doing this right. I mean, my Artist Alley is going to be an Artist Alley that rivals New York Comic Con without paying those prices. I'm telling you right now. So if I have to wait an extra year to get them to come, I'm doing it. I'll wait a year. I'll wait 2 years. I don't give a shit. It's going to be a celebration. My show is all comics and all artists and creators and writers. That's it. Period.
Well, I need to be there.
It's going to be huge, and we're going to let everybody know about it, and it's going to be a blast. And no, you're not going to be spending $80 to get in for the day. If you're spending $80 for the day to get in, you're not spending it on the artists and the comic dealers,
So remember earlier when I told you that I kind of had a game plan with what I wanted to do with all this after collecting it? Okay. So what I would love to do, and it's partly the reason, it's also selfish. I'd love to get some of these great artists, these big artists, under, but I would love to, and I don't know the logistics of all of it, but I think because it would be for charity, I could pull it off. So I'd like to take all the high-res scans of all these posters and do a coffee table book.
Nice.
Or
I'm going to do that with my jams.
Well, and to benefit Heroes, the Hero
Initiative.
And I just thought it would be kind of cool, and what I would do is I'd have the poster on one side, right? And then across from it in the blank space, there'd be a space for you to get that artist's signature. You can kind of collect the signatures.
Nice.
And I would approach each artist with a little paragraph to ask them of their earliest memory of comic books. And
that's awesome.
Place that. So that's the idea, to do a hardcover. I had a little hard time getting a hold of Hero Initiative, so I'm gonna still work on that.
I can give you the email who you have to talk to.
Yeah, it might not even be legally possible. I don't know if it's legal to reprint covers, if it's for charity or not.
DC and Marvel are probably going to have well, if you're not selling them, you might be fine, because as long as you're not making a profit, they're not going to give you a cease and desist.
Well, not making a profit, they will be sold, but the money goes towards charity.
Yeah, no, then you're going to have a problem. If you're making money, no matter what you do with the money, it's considered a profit. DC, Marvel, they're going to give you a cease and desist or sue you.
Only those two, huh?
Yeah. Well, what you could do is, it would be too expensive for you. But over time, if you do some cover recreations, those are your commissions. And if you talk to the artists and let them know that what you were doing and they were okay with it, you could do that. But using regular covers, yeah, you're gonna run into legal trouble.
The covers represented on the posters, so I think that's probably where I hit a snag. But we'll see. I do have a few other ones. I got Larry Stroman. Thank you very much, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
For helping me. I got Riley Brown, Mitch, Brittweiser. Is that?
I don't know.
So Kevin West.
Nice.
Tom.
Kevin West is amazing. He is he wouldn't do a commission for me. I think he was busy or whatever, but holy crap, not only is he a nice guy, but my God, can that man draw?
Yep, I'm excited because I've got a Silver Surfer coming from him.
Really? He's incredible. I love his art. I want him on my jams.
Guess who just got his poster in the mail?
Who's that?
Sean Chen.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He's on vacation right now, but he'll be on my show August 28th.
Yeah, I'll chime in. I'm excited.
Sean Chen is one of the finest human beings. He said something to me that was so complimentary that twice now. I went to his house to pick up the original art to the cover he did for my book, and he said to me, he goes, "I don't know how you do it. You've got a large set of balls." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You just keep going. The art repping, the book, the shows, and you just jump in. It looks like you don't even prep. You just jump in and do it, and then you do it right." It's like, how do you have the cojones? Like, he didn't say cojones, he said something, but how do you have the balls to just do that? And I was like, well, what else? There's no other chance. You don't have a chance if you don't try.
I'm thinking you have the most understanding wife in the world.
I think my wife is amazing and awesome. And most of the time, I don't know if it's understanding or tolerant, but I drive her freaking crazy.
In our world, it's the same difference.
Dude, I drive her crazy because she's a very think it out, and let's really pay attention to this, and she's meticulous and she's thoughtful and she's considerate, like in consideration. I'm like, oh, look, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. And she's like, what do you mean? Yeah. Look at that pool. That is a deep pool, but you can't swim. I'll learn. No, what are you doing? And I go jump in, and she's panicking on the side of the pool, like, oh my God, this stupid man is going to kill himself. And then I come out of the pool, go, that was fun. And she's like, you're insane. That's our relationship right there.
Now, your kids, they take after your wife or you more?
My oldest takes after my wife, and my youngest is me. She's hot-headed, but she'll give you the shirt off her back or her foot in your ass. It's all up to you. And she's, oh, look, I have, Cliff. Cool. Let's just see how far down it goes. She doesn't give a crap. I don't care. What's the worst? See, this is what I never understood. People being afraid of taking certain risks. What is the worst that happens? I mean, do you not trust yourself that you can get through, get out of it? I mean, how many times in life has everybody gone through some crap? And what, this is the one that's going to break you? No, man. No.
As far as I'm concerned, that's kind of a societal issue right now, especially with young people. They're either afraid of being judged or failing to the point where it freezes them. I have a couple of different loves in my life. One is comics, but I'm also a coach. I coach fast pitch softball because my daughter was involved earlier, and I've continued to coach long after she was done, and at a very high level. And you see people freeze because they're afraid to fail. So it's like they're happier with inaction in and of itself,
which is a real fail.
Which is a failure in and of itself. But they don't see it that way because they can stand back and not get judged. Well, look at everything they do. Instagram, did you get that like? Did you repost that picture? Did you do that? It's all generated by judgment. So it's tough for them.
All I know is I know that if I do the best I can and it doesn't work out, it just wasn't meant to be, or I wasn't good enough, and I'm okay with that. What I'm not going to ever be okay with is when I'm 80 years old, if I make it that long, if my wife doesn't finally club me over the head, I am not going to look back at life and go, just what if I tried? What could have been if I tried? Because that is murder. To live your last years, your decade, or whatever it is, regretting stuff, that is the slowest, most horrible death you can imagine. And I've seen people go through it, and I won't do it. I'm going to look back and say, I gave it 120%, 1,000% at everything I did. Some worked out, some didn't. I fell on my face sometimes, but guess what? I picked myself up, fixed my nose, cleaned it up, and I'm good to go. I'm not afraid to take a punch. I'm afraid to be a coward and not throw one.
It's awesome. You want to talk to my softball team?
Yeah, I've actually been told I'm a great motivator, by the way. People tell me I should do motivational speaking.
So you asked me about my wish list.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're big guns, right? So I want the split. Oh, okay. The devil loves a coward. I love that.
Damn right. And we have too many of them today in society, and they're the ones whose voices are the loudest. So go ahead. What's your wish list?
A split-faced Peter Parker and Spider-Man by Junior Jr.
Would you have this with the Spidey tingling? Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
Nice. He lives right near me.
Does he?
Yeah.
Go knock on his door.
He does. Scott Snyder lives right near me. Billy's like 5 blocks away.
Well, you're in New York. Everybody lives near each other.
Yeah, but we're in Long Island. We're way out in Long Island, so.
Okay. So it's New York with a view, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's a lot different.
A Walt Simonson, but here's the odd one: either a Beta Ray Bill or a Beta Ray Frog. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I think that would fit so cool in there. The frog with the Thor.
Yeah.
Mjolnir, it'd be awesome.
Walt Simonson, let me tell you, I spoke to him at a show a couple of years ago when I was doing my shows, and I asked him to come to my show. He is a very nice man, but he's at that age in his life where if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to mince words. He's just going to say, yeah, I'm not looking to do it. But he's not a jerk. So he goes, he goes, yeah, I'm not really looking to do it. I'm sorry. I just, I don't want to travel. And I was like, okay. So Scott Hanna walks up to him and goes, no, you got to do Phil's show. It's awesome. Larry Stroman comes and goes, you got to do Phil's show. It's really awesome. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. So Louise, he comes up to me and she goes, you got to get him at the right time. Here's my email. Just email me and he'll say yes. Don't worry. She was real sweet. So then Walt goes to Larry, who I drove in. hey, Larry, you and Phil want to come back and hang out at my house for a while, and so you're not getting stuck in traffic. And inside, I'm going, well, fuck yeah. And Larry thinking he's putting me out, that I want to get home.
Don't tell me he turned it down.
He turned it down.
Oh.
And he turned it down, and I go, and we get in the car, I go, Larry, what the fuck? And he goes, oh, dude, to me, he's just Walt. I mean, we work together. We know each other. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I'm like, I could have been hanging out with Walt and Wheezy Simonson in their house. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
This is such a George Costanza moment.
Yeah, I would have been like stealing silverware and like clothes and socks. And I'm kidding. I wouldn't have stolen anything. But I would have been like, I'm touching their table. I'm not really a big fanboy like that, right? So I'm exaggerating for the sake of humor. But it would have been cool to sit in their home at their table and listen to them talk about comics. I mean, X Factor was huge for me. And, Wheezy was writing that. And then the Thor run in the 80s. I mean, that is the epitome of Thor. The movies are based on all that. And just all the stuff they had done. To have been able to be the fly on that wall, but the fly on their wall in their house would have been cool. So I give Larry a little crap all the time when we talk on the phone. I'm like, you owe me, because I could have been at Walt Simonson's house.
I'd give him a little more than a little.
To see his studio, right? Like Charles said, to see his studio would have been phenomenal.
Oh.
And Larry's a very laid back guy. Like if you were a jerk to Larry, he's like, yeah, I ain't bothering with you, whatever. He just turns around and walks away. Larry is very chill. So he's like, he's just Walt to me. He's been in his house. I'm like, I know, Larry, but I am a nobody in this comic world, okay?
Man.
So that's my story.
That's cool. Sal Buscema, we talked about. I'd like a Hulk by Sal.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. The only other person I'd like a Hulk by, he's no longer with us, would be Herb Trimpe.
Yeah.
Alex Ross, Superman,
Alex Ross is really nice. I actually messaged him, and he responded to me directly. I mean, he said he couldn't make my show, but he did respond. You would think that he doesn't even respond to anybody, but he did. It was amazing. Now, if I could actually get him to say yes.
I'm not going to lie. I'm tempted to do a poster from him, and he's got Alex Ross Studios in Ohio. My daughter goes to school in Kentucky, and it's right past one of the exits as you go from Michigan, as you drive down from Michigan to go to Kentucky. And she plays volleyball there, so we're going to be there all fall watching her games. So, man, I'd be like, is Alex home? Anybody? Right.
No, you got to do like Big Bang. Alex.
Oh, now Frank Miller.
You know what he would charge you though? Frank Miller, you have to go through Doug. It's comic sketch art, and that's going to be like $1,000 minimum, $4,000.
I actually talked to them, and they didn't even entertain it. Too small of a project, wasn't something. Yeah, which is fine. Mike Zeck. I met Mike at one of those cons, and that would be awesome to get a Punisher or a Captain America by Mike.
You can even just do the Punisher skull.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take him but a second. Al Milgrom, oddly enough, was before I was doing these posters. I met and he signed a bunch of books.
He's nice.
It was a really small show. If you've never had Al out to one of your shows, dude.
Oh, I plan on it.
He's awesome, so approachable. I should have been doing these posters back then. He could have done one,
Oh, I'll reach out to him for my 2-day.
Yeah, I think
Where does he live?
What's that?
Where does he live? He's here on the East Coast, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's in the Midwest, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think he is. Ivan Rice is one of my bucket list guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just so cool. And I don't even care what. I mean, Superman again, but I don't even care what.
I agree. Talk to Joe Prado. Joe Prado reps him.
Oh, does he really? Joe Prado reps Ivan Rice?
Yep.
Well, I know they've done a million books together.
Yeah, no, Joe Prado, him and his partner, they have a studio, and rest his soul, Robson Roca was part of it. Edward Pensica, who's doing Suicide Squad right now. Ivan Rice. Bunch of guys. Talk to Joe Prado, and Joe's really nice. He'll respond to you.
Okay, I'll reach out. Oh, and I don't even know if I have it right here. You know who sent me a little sketch card? So really cool. You know Steve Rude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
don't know him personally, but I know, yeah.
Yeah, so you know who he is. Pretty famous artist, real nice guy. At least I hear. So I reached out via his email on his website and just sent him the typical email that I send asking if I can send him a poster and this and that. And I don't hear anything, right? I get an email back from his executive assistant, and that's what the title says underneath it. 3 months later, saying your sketch for Mr. Rude is ready. We need an address to send it to.
No kidding.
And he sent me a sketch. It was a 4, because in my email it said, yeah, the sketch area is 4 by 4 inches. He didn't want a poster or anything. He sent me a little sketch of his character Nexus, 4 by 4 inches, that I could insert into a poster.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You should reach out to Jeff Smith and get a bone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
People like Ron Lim, Jay Lee, Jim Lee's off the books. I can't.
Ron Lim is a sweetheart of a guy.
Is he?
Jay Lee, I don't know if he's still with the same rep or not, because I think he switched. But Jay Lee's really nice too.
Jerry Ordway, I can't get a hold of him.
Actually, he's good friends with Mitch, and he's easy to. I have his contact.
Okay.
Jerry Ordway is a really nice guy.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know. I see people have commissions of him all over, and
he's a super nice guy. Like I said, I got to hang out with him and Bob Hall and Barry Kitson, and he gave me his card and he said, "Yeah, I'll come to your show." He's just really, really awesome. But then, of course, COVID hit, so he didn't. There was no show. Nothing but great things to say, honestly. And I don't know why that man is not being called by DC or Marvel at this point. I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Most of them, Bob McLeod, although Bob McLeod did just do something recently, but Alex Saviak. I mean, I don't know why they forgot these people. If I had the money, I would do my own version of Image. I'd start a publishing company, and I would be hiring all the 70s and 80s artists and some 90s artists that they won't call and give work anymore. I mean, inkers like Danny Mickey.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I would get a lot of classic Al Milgrams and all those guys, those type of people, and we create our own world, and I'd bury those bastards. I'm just saying. And then we get some fresh blood too, like maybe Tyler Kirkham if you'd want to do it, or Al Garza, and mix it up. Ryan Kincaid, get some of those really popular indie guys that have the kind of borderline indie and mainstream. They do both, Yep. I would get them all in, and please, if I had money, the things I would do. All
right, you want to hear my comic idea?
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I really want to do, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to write it. There is a number of comic characters over, that are now public domain characters from the 40s,
right?
Now the 50s, 30s. Some really cool obscure characters that both heroes and villains. So I'd like to start off each one with a guy sitting down at a drawing table, and he's kind of like the Watcher, kind of like
just be careful, someone might steal this idea.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Tell me in private, because you put it out here, especially guys like Alfred Pennyworth, those bastards will steal it in a second.
No, he's working on the Green Tempest.
Ken is here. What's going on? We were talking about you before, man.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, there's this can be endless, and I'm just having so much fun with it, man. Just really.
Yeah, Peter's talking about Lee Weeks. You have to go through Jason Schachter, but Lee Weeks is a very nice man. I talked to him recently. He said he was interested in doing my Q&A, and then he said he's not able to do it now. So maybe someday.
I love his style, really do.
Dude, not only is he just a really sweet guy, but he's a legend in the industry too. Yep. Jimmy Chung, another nice guy, but again, he's also repped by Comic Sketch Art. They got everybody now. So,
do you know? There's a guy down in Brazil, probably most known for him, and I think it's his brother. who did the artwork for the Umbrella Academy, Gabriel Ba.
Yeah.
And how cool would it be to have a sketch of the monkey, or
I'm just gonna tell you now, Brazilian artists, every one of them is like the sweetest, nicest person.
are they?
They're so friggin' talented. I don't know what's in the water over there, but I mean, even the ones that haven't made it big yet, you look at their work and you go, "Holy crap!" Brazil and the Philippines are just putting out some crazy artists, man. I don't know what's in the water.
There's a guy in India, Sid Cotain.
Oh yeah. I see his stuff all the time online.
This guy's doing some amazing
with a K,
work.
right? Koteain.
Koteain. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. His Facebook page is filled with some just some sick work.
Yep.
Out in Mumbai. He does a good job. Yeah.
It's a lot of great international artists.
Howard Chaykin, I think I'm going to hit up here pretty soon. I've got one. By the way, I just sent one out to Bob Allman.
Bob, okay. Bob is a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. He is one of those nice guys. Really is.
He's funny though, because I asked him to be on the Q&A and he gave me a reason why he can't. And just recently, I how Facebook gives you the memory post.
Yeah.
Well, I just reposted it and it tagged everybody again. I didn't know that it was going to do that. So Bob comes on thinking I'm asking him to do the show again, and he gives me the exact same excuse a year later. And I go, Bob, I didn't tag you. This was an old post. He goes, oh, did I give this excuse last year?
At least he's honest about it.
Yeah. Some people are not comfortable being on these shows. I totally get it. It's not them snubbing me. They're not. A lot of artists, they spend 12 hours a day in a studio, or they're kind of, they don't have a lot of social outing, or so they're not comfortable being in front of an audience like this. So I get it.
Yeah. You know who I did reach out to, who I haven't, he wasn't, I think I'm going to have to go through Catskills, is Ron Friends.
Ron is a really nice guy.
Is he? Yeah.
He lives in Pittsburgh.
Nice guy. He just politely didn't want to be responsible for the poster being delivered or that or something like that.
That's simple though. Do what I do with Ian Churchill. Who do you want to be responsible? You just say, first of all, it's a poster that cost you 60 cents to print?
Yeah, $1 or so. Yeah.
All you do is you can even tell them, I'll sign a waiver that you're not responsible, and you normally get like $100 insurance on it. So that comes with it. So you'll get your money back and you'll be fine. Just write out a waiver. Tell them, look, I'll write a waiver saying you are not responsible for shipping damages or loss. And let him know that the insurance will cover the fee, so there's no issue with the money. I guarantee you he'll do it.
He does a good job, He really does.
Great artist. He's another one, if I ever did that publishing company thing, I'd hire. I mean, I don't know him on a personal basis, but I talked to him once. He's just great.
Who's got it probably does some of the best variant covers? Two people that I just can't get a hold of. Or no, I got a hold of one of them, but the price was just through the roof. Is Scotty Young. I just he's kind of got a cool style. And then and his writing, by the way, is amazing on the Strange Academy. It's just awesome that he can do both those worlds so well. But Inyuk Lee, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Oh yes, I know he's Scott's Collectibles is his agent. You can talk to them.
His work, every time I see something of significance, whether it's aliens or a Robin cover or something like that, this guy's putting out just a sick variant. Yeah,
I know. He doesn't speak English very well. He was at New York Comic Con last year. My friend got a commission from him, but very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Scott's Collectibles. I can again, if you need, I can tell you who to reach out to, and they're really cool. At Scott's Collectibles, any interaction I've ever had with them, they're really cool people. They're not, they're not snobby. They're not unreasonable. They're not unreasonable. I mean, I talked to them about having some of their guys at my show, and they're good. They're cool. They're cool.
Very cool. I did. I had one that was this close. Alex Maleev, who I love.
Oh, really?
We talked. He's like, hey, reach out to me later. I sent him the poster. He's like, that looks fantastic. What do we do now? And then I mentioned, well, if your commission list is open, I'd love to get a commission. And I don't know if he was just thinking. I don't know if he wasn't expecting that, but all of a sudden it went dark.
Really?
I didn't ever hear from him again.
Isn't he now with Jason Schachter in Essential Sequential also?
He
Or
might
is,
be.
yeah, I think he is. He was on his own for a while. Or maybe he's not. He wasn't with them in New York Comic Con. You know what? And I think he lives here in the city. Oh, shoot. You know what? I should see if he wants to come August 28th.
That dude does some of the most
Oh, shit. I got to check that
innovative
out.
art that I've seen. He reminds me of a young Bill Sienkiewicz.
You know, I don't think he's as abstract as him, but I can see that.
I just love his Daredevil stuff. Is too cool.
You know, thank you for reminding me that he lives in the city, I think. I can ask Alex Maleev. That'd be cool. Well, I'll do that later. But
Jack Gamble would be awesome.
Unattainable, but yeah.
He's right up there with Jim Lee, you know.
Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. I mean, Mark Silvestri, you could get him, but it'll be $4,000, you know, because, yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Mark is a really nice guy when you talk to him, but, you know, he's got a rep and he's got a contract and he has to stick to things. And I also think when you get to his status, you don't want to be drawing a lot like that anymore. So you jack up your prices to make it worth your while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why part of the reason why I continue to do it. It was a great mix of cost effectiveness, and artists don't feel overwhelmed doing it. You know, this little space they can. One of the artists told me that I think it might have been Scott Hanna, or forget who, said that it was really fun to work in a tight confine like that and see how creative you can get with just a little bit to work with.
Right. You know, did you like the Image era?
Some of it.
Because, you know, Marat Michaels worked with Rob Liefeld in Extreme Studios, and he's a really nice guy. He would probably do it for you.
I'm not the Rob Liefeld hater that a lot of people are.
What's that?
I am not the Rob Liefeld hater that. I'm not going to lie to you. That Captain America that on steroids isn't my favorite, but I love his Deadpool and I love the way he self promotes. I think he's a fun type of guy.
I don't know him personally. I know what I've heard from people that do. All I can go on is how he treated me the 2 times I met him, and he was good to me. He actually showed me a great deal of respect, which was surprising. And I did like his art in the 90s. I mean, I do think he's hit or miss sometimes. I think sometimes he, maybe he didn't give it his all. And that Captain America is bad. But I loved a lot of his work. I mean, Youngblood looked awesome. Again, Deadpool, New Mutants, all that stuff it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I love the Youngblood stuff.
I think most people just knock him because they've had bad experiences with him and they feel he's an asshole. And I haven't had
tiny feet.
Yeah. And, he's done some things online where he posted things. But here's the thing, and I'm not defending him because I don't know him well enough to say if he's a good guy or not. I only know that he's been good to me. I don't get on him about his posts sometimes when he gets pissed off and says something and does a rant because we all do that. All of us say something stupid online or go pissed off or start trouble or whatever. And just because he's a celebrity doesn't mean he's no less human or has his moments of immaturity or anger. I mean, I've heard things that would make me say, ooh, but I can only go by what he does to me. I can keep it in mind what people said, but I'm not going to take somebody's opinion as my own. That would just be foolish. And when I saw him at New York Comic Con, Marat Michaels is a friend, and he's a really nice guy. He's a friend of me, but he's also a friend of Rob's. He's a good friend of Rob's. And Marat introduced us, and Marat walked away. He was like, now you're on your own, and made the introduction, which I really appreciated that, Rob Liefeld had a line of like 100-something people there. And he stopped the line for a second to talk to me. I got this small little one-day show. Now, granted, I get big talent, but I get 2,000 people at my show. I'm nobody. he sat there and he spoke with me, and he had gave me respect. And then as he started letting people come, as he was signing with them, he was still talking to me. But then he got overwhelmed, so he said to talk to David, who was his agent. So I'm talking to David. David's showing me respect. He's still listening to my conversation while he's doing all that stuff. And he stopped and he came over and he said, "Look, it was nice to meet you. I look forward to talking to you about possibly doing your show." And he shook my hand, and that was it. I don't know what would, if I work with him, if something bad would happen or whatever. I don't know. All I know is in that moment, when he had 100 and something people online and he could have blown me off as a nobody, he showed me a great deal of respect. I mean, he came back to the conversation. He shook my hand. He said all the nice things. I can only go by that. So I can't say anything bad about Rob Liefeld.
Well,
I can't.
You and I have both lived enough life to have heard about people speaking poorly of us, right? So some people are certain people's slavers and some people aren't.
Yeah, and that maybe they did have a bad experience and have a right to feel that way, but maybe that experience was something that will never happen to me. I don't know. Yeah. I always have to form my opinions based on how you are with me, and even if you're not cool to somebody I know, I'll keep it in mind, of course, and I'll be leery. But am I going to go bash somebody that I don't have a personal gripe with? No.
And then there's that. Look, we don't do a really good job as society of giving people the benefit of the doubt, or thinking maybe they had a bad day, because we all have them. You try to consider that once in a while. I'm not good at that all the time, but I hope people do it with me, so I should, try to do it with them.
Well, it's also hard. I mean, you're dealing with hundreds of people that act like they know you, and you don't know who the hell they are, and it can be a little awkward and uncomfortable. And some people are freaking batshit crazy. I mean, it's like, remember that old Shatner skit on Saturday Night Live where he's like, kiss a girl, that really happened in real life. I mean, imagine you made it big in the comic industry as a writer or something, and people are talking to you like your character is an actual person. Like, do you remember in issue 5, panel 4, and meanwhile you're on issue 120, issue right. 5, panel 4, when he's talking to blah 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 blah, and he did this, or Superman was listening to Van Halen. I didn't know he liked Van Halen. Does he also like blah blah blah? Aren't you at some point going to go, "Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with you?" And then you get labeled as being a jerk. But, I mean, holy crap, that's a weird person, man.
So, yeah, it's kind of funny because I think people forget, too, that, remember we talked about people living in their basement too long?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that you just described that. That's that type yeah.
Are you being called to go, by the way?
Am I being called to go?
Yeah.
The dog wants out.
Well, we
should.
The
dog wants out. The dog wants out.
We should wrap it up anyway. I mean, it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it's been fun. I mean, I told you we could just talk comics and have fun. I mean, I have a personal gripe with 2 artists I won't name, and that's because they made it personal with what they did. And
right.
Other than that, I have nothing bad to say about anybody else, really.
Well, I'm happy to have gotten to know you, and I promise that I will meet you in person. As soon as that date gets set, let me know, because I'll be, when things get a little more stable, I'll be interested in coming out there.
Yeah, man. Honestly, one of the great things that's happened since I, been in the industry is meeting a lot of great people, and I am very, very appreciative and grateful for you doing your poster for me and Tragedy. It was just very kind.
Nah, man, it's all good. You take care of your family and enjoy the book, because I have, and I can't wait for issue 2 to come out. So I'll promo you a little bit.
You don't have to. This show's about you, man.
Yeah. You know what, though? Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all that candy. Right there. That was awesome. So another good one.
And I'm gonna tell you right now. You know how they say, be careful meeting your heroes, so to speak. Well, I don't celebrity worship, but if I was to fanboy, Ian Churchill is one of the people I would fanboy from.
Okay.
He has always been one of my favorite artists. He is I think that man should be working on a lot more books. They should be knocking on his door 24/7. He could do a cartoon style, or he could do that tight 90s style. The man is just brilliant. And I got to meet him a few years ago. And I'm telling you now, he is an awesome, awesome dude. He is such a great guy. I mean, that cover that you just held right now, I reached out to his wife who handles things, and she's like, "Oh, Phil, yes, we'd love to do a cover for you. Absolutely." They were phenomenal with communication. He sat there and he asked me questions every day just to make sure he wanted to get my character right. And look, most people, they just give me the design, I'll do the cover, and that's it. That's it. And don't get me wrong, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I got some great covers from people. He was so meticulous in asking me all these questions. I said, well, I was thinking, instead of some fight scene, having her stand in front of a mirror with her reflection being, her and Civi's while she's standing there in her armor and stuff. He goes, well, what if we reversed it and maybe she was in her armor in the mirror and this and that. And he's talking, and he's like conversing with me about the cover. And he's asking me tons of questions, and should the fletchets go this way or that way, and what kind of style of the boots, and should I do this? And he's putting all this dedication. I'm a nobody indie comic that, for all he knows, I sell 3 books, and he's putting all this dedication into it. We agreed upon something that was just her looking in a mirror, and he put that cover in an email and sent it to me. Dude, the bodies he added, the detail on the mirror in the background, the ballerina, her expression, he went light years beyond what we discussed. I mean, look at the cracked mirror, all the symbolism. He went light years beyond what we discussed. I mean, he took what we discussed and he just went balls to the wall. Didn't ask for any more money. Didn't say anything like I owe him. Didn't act like, look what I did for you. He was grateful that I loved it.
I tell you what, it's amazing. It's the second best piece of art in your whole series. You know what the first one is?
What's that? Will's? Oh. My wife. And Peter Palmiotti inked it.
Huh?
Peter Palmiotti inked it, yeah.
Oh, yes, I see it. That's
and
awesome.
By the way, I'm going to Indiegogo. That's a wraparound cover for Indiegogo.
I'll see. Now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking.
No, listen, for what you do with the prints, I'll just give you one. But I printed 10 just for the family. It's a wraparound. It looks great as a wraparound cover, virgin cover with my wife and Peter's thing. So, Peter, you are inking a cover, actually. So the cover's will be an Indiegogo. But Ian Churchill, again, he still talks to me, and he's just kind. And
I'm going to check into the fees to ship overseas and see what England costs, and maybe get a poster by him. Well, so you said that he'll probably be in your show next year, right?
He said he'd like to be there as long as there's no schedule issues or anything. Okay. Yes. I mean, it's a good chance he will be a guest. I don't ever say absolute because things can come up. He can get a gig, like Brett Booth was going to do a cover for Tragedy, but then he got the Spawn gig. So, he couldn't do it. So, I never count my eggs until they're actually in the basket, and,
Right.
But it's a very good chance Ian will be there, yes.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, that art style is going to be freaking killer. I get artists that you don't see. I had Art T. Bear at my show. You don't see him here on the East Coast. Scott Williams, Alex Sinclair, they don't come over here unless it's New York Comic Con. And I have him on my little rinky-dink shit show in Long Island. I mean, come on.
Well, you're a mover and a shaker. You talk to people and they listen.
I'm a maker and a shoer. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I've had a wonderful time this evening. I really have. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I'm sorry we had to delay it. I appreciate your understanding, and I'm glad you came on. You have a cool collection. I look forward to seeing more. Guys, follow John Jay on on Facebook. He posts up his new stuff all the time if you want to see more stuff he gets.
Cool. Take care. Best of the family.
Thanks, man. You rock. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
So that was John Jay. It was fun just talking comics and hanging out and sitting down. Friday, Creatorcon Q&A, we had an open spot. Peter Clinton, who just did a cover for me for Tragedy, will be on. And we're going to talk art with him from across the pond. And just so you know, August 28th, the Legendary Art Show. We got Sean Chen, Scott Hanna, Koi Pham, Larry Stroman, Keith Williams, you name it. It's going to be a lot of fun. August 28th, it's a $5 cash door. If you're in the New York area, man, I'm telling you, I'm sorry if this sounds arrogant, but you're not going to find a show that gives you the quality I do for $5 cash at the door. You're not. Forgive me if that sounds arrogant, but it's the God's honest truth, because I give you the show that I'd want, as an art collector and a comic collector. So $5 gets you in Koi Pham, Scott Hanna, Larry Stroman, Sean Chen, Keith Williams, Chris Batista, Alex Rivera, Rodney Ramos, Tony Cordos, and a ton of local talent. So please spread the word. Come on out. I asked Mark McKenna to come, but he had a prior engagement. So maybe next time we'll get Mark there. And I'm going to reach out to Alex Maleev. But anyway, so yeah, man, it's going to be fun. And August 14th, if you're in the Long Island area, you want to take a little bit of a ride, it's going to be my very first comic store signing with Henry Martinez, artist of Blaze and Spirits of Vengeance in the 90s. Who is a cover artist, and Motto Zapata, who's a cover artist and colorist of many of the covers. We will be there signing Tragedy and selling Tragedy, and you can also get free comic books through the store because it's free comic book day. I'm not going to lie, I'm glad it's free comic book day because at least I'm guaranteed people will be in the store. I know I'm a nobody. I know Tragedy's new. I believe in what I wrote. I think it's a good book. I'm getting a lot of great reviews. So, hey, come on out, even if you don't want to buy a book and just chat, just come hang out. You want to meet me. If I know you on Facebook and we never got to meet in person, I'd love to just say hi, shake your hand, give you a hug, whatever, and shoot the breeze. So, August 14th, comic book, Tragedy signing at, Androids Comics in Sayville, Long Island. And August 28th, the Legendary Art Show, my show. In Ronkonkoma, Long Island. So please spread the word and help out. Facebook is really killing all of my my promotional posts. They're really making it difficult because they want you to pay, and you don't get your money's worth anymore. So forgive my begging or solicitation, but if you could, please just spread the word, share it. Somebody in New York who would be interested, let them know. By the way, Steph Wilson will be at my show August 28th. Steph Wilson, Mr. TNA, will be at my show August 28th. So come out and meet Steph. It'll be my first time meeting him. All right, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate you. Thanks for hanging and chatting with us. Peter, Mark, Alfred Pennyworth, Steve Garcia is always here. I hope you had a great show this weekend, Steve. I'm glad you're enjoying your con circuit and you're doing well. Steve Garcia is a phenomenal talent and a really funny guy. Steve, I don't know, man. He could do he's like a John Leguizamo. He could do a skit show by himself. Just a really entertaining, funny guy. Also been a great friend to me. Very supportive. He never misses a show. Maybe he's putting it on the background and walks away and gets his coffee. But still, he always has the show on, and I'm grateful. He's a good man, and I appreciate it. And Peter is also a great guy, great inker. I had the pleasure of representing him. So anyway, last thing, if you do want to hire Peter Palmiotti to ink your book or your cover or whatever the case, or commissions, just reach out to me. He's a pro, man. He's done DC, he's done Marvel. I mean, he's a pro inker, but he's affordable because he understands what you go through. So reach out to me if you want him to ink your stuff. You'll look pro, and having his name on your book only makes you look more legit. Just saying. All right. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. As always, be legendary and have fun storming the castle.